content on the internet was opposed by President Donald Trump. The Trump administration and the telecom industry had wanted to erase the 2016 ruling, even though the FCC in December voted to repeal the net neutrality rules. The policy reversal went into effect in June. The Supreme Court's brief order noted that 3 of the court's conservative justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch, would have thrown out the appeal court decision. Neither Chief Justice John Roberts nor Brett Kavanaugh participated in the decision. The Department of Justice has also filed suit to block California's state net neutrality law from taking effect in January. The state agreed in October to delay enforcement of the law pending appeals of the net neutrality reversal. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the social media site officials say a gunman used to post anti-Semitic messages before killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue is back online after finding a new domain host. Domain registrar startup Epic has agreed to host Gab after the site went dark last week when host GoDaddy pulled its affiliation after the October 27th shooting. Authorities say the suspect, Robert Bowers, used Gab to post anti-Semitic messages. Gab bills itself as a social media platform for free speech and individual liberties, but has been criticized as a haven for hate speech. Epic chief executive Rob Monster told the Seattle Times on Sunday he believes in free speech and thinks Gab will be aggressive in stamping out violent rhetoric. Monster said, "I do believe the guys that are on the site are vigilant." The Epic CEO also said he met with Gab founder Andrew Torba before making his decision to accept the social media site. Monster wrote, "Although I did not take the decision lightly to accept this domain registration, I look forward to partnering with a young and once brash CEO who is courageously doing something that looks useful." Gab found another supporter Sunday in the Washington Post editorial board, which said the platform should be allowed to keep operating. The board said if the internet belongs to everyone, it might belong to Gab too. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Captain Actual America is overweight and hopelessly in debt, and the Richie Rich comic strip introduces a new, even gayer character. As if you needed another reason to remain in your isolated and socially degenerative cocoon, this is the Onion Week in Review, Comics Edition. Sources confirmed Tuesday that the Comic Book and Sci-Fi Expo Comic-Con was once again marred by BullyCon, an increasingly popular event held in the same convention space. Now in its 5th year, BullyCon reportedly drew more than 125,000 tormentors from across the nation, all of whom were bent on beating up and torturing those attending the many comic book, television, and movie panels at Comic-Con.
When this got started, it was just a couple of friends who wanted to beat the shit out of some Joss Whedon fans, but now there are thousands of us, ruining Walking Dead panels, taunting Harry Potter nerds, and really making some video gamers' lives completely miserable. I don't necessarily need to travel to San Diego to slap a copy of Spider-Man out of some pussy's hands, but there's something really special about coming together with people who dig the same sort of cruelty you do.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number here allows you to take control of the airwaves, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, well, of course, it's, election night here, and obviously results are probably mostly not going to be available during our radio show. There may be some initial ones, maybe in the final hour. We'll see what we can bring you about that. But for those of you who are, still curious about election results, Vincent is here tonight. Hey, Vincent.
Hi, everybody.
And you're going to be doing a special edition of Questioning Authority, which is normally your Saturday night show. You'll be doing a special edition of that from 10 to midnight Eastern Time tonight. So you may have more to say and or know about these election results.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, one of my first shows I did on LRN was the 2016 coverage, so it'll just be like old times.
Right on. Will you be more sober or less sober in 2016?
Geez, way more sober than that, man. I built up a tolerance. And Cody's not here, so.
So Ian here, as well as
Michael and Vincent.
Well, we know Vincent's here. So you can bring up anything you want. Coming up, 4 myths about college students and voting, because you got a ride from a organization today to the polls. We can talk about that coming up, but let's go to the phones first, where Kevin is on the line to start things out here tonight. Kevin, you're in Virginia, listening on your phone. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, so I wanted to talk about some things going on in college, and this all has to do with the election today. See, I was walking around campus, and a bunch of young people, and I'm 21, so kids that are like 18, 19, they're handing out flyers advocating for black rights, immigrant rights, women rights, et cetera, et cetera. And this all has to do with cultural Marxism.
What is that? What is cultural Marxism?
Yeah, so, of course, classical Marxism, the premise is that the capitalist or the bourgeoisie oppress the proletariat or the factory worker. But essentially, some academics who go by the Frankfurt School came to America directly to Columbia University, and they kind of pushed their ideology, which is cultural Marxism. And the logic is this. It's basically white heterosexual males are the new capitalists, and everyone else are the oppressed, which would be the proletariat. And so this all has to do with the young people handing out flyers advocating for black rights, immigrant rights, gay rights, etc., because they think that white heterosexual males oppress them. And this all has to do with this new wave of Marxism in college. And
it's not new.
I laugh at this.
It's not new.
Yeah.
Marxism has been present in college for I don't know, as long as I've been alive, probably for decades and decades before that as well.
Yeah, but I think what led to cultural Marxism was the collapse of classical Marxism, right? And so again, there was 2 branches of Marxism that were created, and one is cultural Marxism, and the other are the environmentalists who want to overregulate the economy in the name of the snakes, birds, ants, whatever. But the cultural Marxists have really hit college hard, and I laugh at this. And this is where political correctness
wasn't Marx a white dude?
Yeah. But again, it was the.
Was he like a self-hating white guy, or like how did?
Did he talk about race, Marx? I never thought he did.
Yeah. Why does this this attack on men, white dudes? Why does that get labeled as cultural Marxism? What does it have to do with Marx?
Again, it's these academics who witnessed the failure of Marxism, and they blamed the Western culture and Christianity for the failure of getting the proletariat to actually, kill capitalists. It was all about the revolution, but that revolution never happened. And so these academics went by the Frankfurt School, and they sought to destroy Western, culture, and that is why they, went into universities. They essentially they attacked the dumb majors like people majoring in literature, education. And again, that's why a lot of the young educators essentially implement Marxist ideologies in young people. Because when I was in kindergarten, I remember that my teacher said, "Hey, don't bring snacks unless you share with everyone else." And that just tells you, you can't have private property unless you share with everyone else. And so this has been going on, like you said, for a long time. But it's getting worse, especially with the whole Trump era. I'm really afraid that this is going to be a disaster. People have to realize that we all have rights. There's no such thing as group rights. We all have natural rights.
Yeah, that's an important thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'd meant to touch on that when you were talking about these people handing out flyers supporting black rights or women's rights, or some modifier in front of the word rights. And I think you're absolutely correct to point out that rights are a human attribute. They are something that all human beings should agree on and should agree that humans have. To say one group has fewer rights than another group is it's outrageous.
Well, how very unprincipled of you, Ian.
What's unprincipled about that?
What's unprincipled to believe that people have rights when at least all the voluntarist and libertarian literature I've read, Rothbard, it said that people actually don't. No one is entitled to anything, right? In fact, people have a negative right. You do not have a right to commit force. Nothing else is guaranteed to you.
Well, okay, the idea of rights, though, is a good idea. And so, no, rights do not exist because they're just an idea. And what I'm saying here is that people, human beings, should acknowledge the concept of rights.
Okay, so what rights, Ian? Give an example of one.
Well, basically the right to be left alone. I mean, ultimately, that's...
So that means the onus is on everyone else not to commit force. So I guess it's just the same thing with different labels.
Right. We're not talking about the other kind of false rights. I mean, I realize
like a
that
government,
like a right to health care, or
government-paid abortion.
Yeah, any kind of so-called right that is ultimately a guarantee based on the government's forcing somebody to do something, which is not a right in my mind.
But so many people think it is. I remember just at the college the other day,
they call that a positive right.
Positive right, yeah.
Like, I find that very confusing.
And it's even like to the point where at the college, people were talking about the midterms, and they were worrying for like, oh my God, we're going to take away our right to have government-paid abortion. Like, I didn't come up with that as like, someone literally said that.
Wow.
Oh.
So yeah, cultural Marxism is being taught in schools, or at least some sort of horseman.
Kevin, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, just one thing about economics. I'm in the economics department, and thankfully, cultural Marxism hasn't infected economics. It affects social science and humanities. But I think you all know that Keynesianism has really affected.
Got your own problem there.
And boy, these people really, they think that us Austrians are crazy or lunatics. Today, for example, I made a point that the hike in interest rates, it's going to bring everything down, and that the economy was built on cheap money. People forgot that Ben Bernanke, the central planner, lowered interest rates at zero, and he did that for 8 years. Now, if you built an economy on cheap money, once you take that cheap money away and you make debt more expensive, then the crash is coming, and these Keynesians just they laugh at me. They call me an ideologue.
Well, it sounds a whole lot like the Roaring '20s to me.
Exactly, but in fact, these guys are cultists because they worship the state. I mean, that's like a religion to them.
When it does happen, they'll blame anybody else.
And we'll be all laughing on top of our piles of silver, gold, and wallets full of crypto.
Cryptocurrency? Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Kevin, keep us in the loop as things continue to develop there on the college campus. It's always interesting to hear that perspective. Obviously, we got Vincent in the studio here, but good to have you calling in about it. Thanks for bringing that up here tonight. In fact, we were going to cover your experience as a college student going to vote today, Vincent. Plus, on the way, you've got the 4 myths about college students and voting. Toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And speaking of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin Cash may be splitting soon.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you at discord.lrn.fm. And there are 4 of those rooms, so just jump into any one of them, and we'll join you in there. And then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Go to discord.lrn.fm. Tonight in here, it's Ian,
Michael,
and Vincent.
We continue here. Want you to know about AnyPay. They are doing some cool expansions behind the scenes with AnyPay. Up front, though, you're going to see a super easy to use way to accept cryptocurrency at your point of sale. If you've got a retail business, if you're a manager or an owner of a retail establishment, you've been wanting to accept Bitcoin or Dash or let's see what else, Zcash, Zen. These are some of the cryptos they have. They've got some others that they're working on right now, and I'm not at liberty to say what they are, but it's pretty exciting stuff. So go to anypay.global. You can get signed up there. It's super easy to sign up. All you need is a username and password, and you are in. There's no government approval process. There's no paperwork to fill out. There's no waiting. You just go and create your account, and then you push your cryptocurrency addresses into the setup page and load the app on your point of sale device. You're done. You're accepting cryptocurrency that fast. Go to anypay.global. So we just had a gentleman on the line talking about his experience in college with all these people flyering for these various different types of rights, which, of course, to our mind should not exist. There should only just be the right to be free, to be left alone, to not be aggressed against. Not these what you called positive rights. I think one of you used that term.
Yeah, I said positive rights.
Positive rights, which I find to be one of the most confusing sounding, because positive sounds good, right?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Positive sounds like a good thing.
But in the end, it's like choosing via wallpaper in your prison cell. It's something nice to have, but you're still a slave.
Well, the problem with so-called positive rights is it requires the action of another individual, meaning that if you have a so-called right to health care, that means that somebody's got to provide that for you. Because by default, just sitting around doing nothing, you don't have somebody giving you health care. There has to be another human being there to provide that service.
Right.
And and if it's a so-called right, then that means you aren't obligated to pay for the services that you're being provided. So that means that human being has to be willing to work without compensation or with whatever arbitrary compensation the government, this agency of coercive force, deems appropriate. Yeah. Right?
And that's what's been happening in Canada, and to some extent starting to happen in the U.S., is that doctors are being paid so little that they're
walking.
Yeah, they're walking out. They're going off and doing other things.
Go play golf.
So there's a doctor shortage in Canada, air quotes on that, because the reason there's a doctor shortage is because they're not getting paid enough.
Right. So only the most, the most dedicated, and that doesn't necessarily mean the best, doctors are going to continue on. The ones that are willing to put up with an abusive system, one that doesn't pay them what they're actually worth in the marketplace.
Well, and it's not even really a free market because you have to get some sort of arbitrary certification to be a doctor. There's no competition.
Well, right. You're saying even in the United States, it's not a free market.
Yeah.
Right. Because we know it's not a free market in Canada because it's a completely controlled government system. Here, you're right. It's a restricted market where there's a restricted, limited number of doctors that can even exist, and that number is, I think, controlled by the AMA. If I'm not, if I'm not incorrect about that.
The thing that's going on right now with doctors,
it's a cartel, basically.
I was speaking to someone about this last night. Is that there's strangely there are actually more people trying to become doctors than there are positions. Actually, becoming a resident, when you graduate from medical school, you get your MD. The next step is you go and become a resident at a teaching hospital. And the system by which you become a resident is it's a national system that everyone has to go through called the match. And what happens is you have to go and apply to like every different hospital you might conceivably want to go to all at once. And then what happens is everyone else that has got their MD and wants to go into residency at that point has to do the same thing, all at the same time. They do this once a year.
And then what?
Then an algorithm tries to match the candidates to the positions that are open.
It's not an actual process. It's not an actual process of that hospital looks at its applicants and decides.
Well, the hospital does look at its applicants when at a certain point during the match.
This is after the system provides them with the options.
Right. The system provides them with the options that it thinks are going to match. The hospital looks at those, and then they grant interviews.
Wow. I had no idea it was that centrally planned.
It is.
That's crazy.
And everyone in the U.S. has to go through this system.
If you want to join us here, you can. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So the more controls there are like this, the less choice that we have in the marketplace as consumers. Not that very many people are making choices because almost everybody's being shoehorned into this insurance system, whether it be by the fact that their employer is giving them health insurance or if they live in a state like Massachusetts, where it's being shoved down their throats, and I guess that's true now in the entire United States. They haven't repealed the Obamacare thing yet, have they? They're talking about it, but
we could thank John McCain for that.
Oh, is that right? He stood in the way of that?
Yes.
And then he died of a brain tumor or something like that?
He died of what he got. He got what he deserved. Terrible man.
So
he's in hell right now.
So this is a system that's not going to change anytime soon. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to vote your way out of this. The Republicans are not proposing a free market in healthcare. They're just proposing to change the system in the way they want it to be changed.
Repeal and replace.
Right, to benefit their buddies. Right, so we still want to have the government running things. We just want to have it run it this way.
Which is why the 2012 election was just a total sham, because there's Romney care, right? They tried to have these two different people. Oh, Romney wants free market, but no, he had his own plan when he was. Well, I'm saying that's what that's what they said, but he had his own plan when he was before he ran for president.
Right, and
Romney
what's
care.
the difference? I mean, what is ultimately the difference between Romney care and Obamacare? Is there some kind of fundamental difference between those two?
Color schemes?
Yeah, mine are the color of the drapes. I mean,
right? Yeah, one of them was hung by a Republican, the other one was hung by a Democrat.
Heads they win, tails we lose.
Indeed. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones to the fun. It's Sarah calling early on. Hey, Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just want to say that here in Albuquerque, we can run in and hand in our absentee or the mail ballots by 7 o'clock at all of the polling locations. They'll do it for that one day.
So if you were too lazy, or you just straight up forgot to send your absentee ballot in, you can still go to a polling location and hand it to them. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, by 7 o'clock. So if you're listening to me, you got 2 hours and a half by 7 o'clock.
Well, no, I mean, in Albuquerque we air later on, so by the time this hour of the show airs, it'll already be too late. Sarah, thank you for the call tonight. She cares, though. She cares about voting. She's very, intense.
I wonder how much more food
voting.
stamps are giving her for going on Free Talk Live to say that.
I don't know. It's a darn good question. You're making me sorry I got rid of her there, Vincent. More coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. Coming up, more about voting, the myths about college students and voting. Vincent's going to share those with us coming up here in moments. And this is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Why is the black man black and the white man white? God said, mansaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. God said, mansaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously. You possess the world's greatest treasure. God said, mansaid.com. Sin bones, St. Peter's fish, hours of text and streaming audio. God said, mansaid.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
A new report released this week has found that nearly 3/4 of sleepaway campers' parents are currently using their children's time away from home to take the first steps towards filing for divorce.
With 46% of campers' moms currently staying with their sisters while they try to figure it out, and 38% of campers' dads sleeping on the living room couch and staring at the ceiling for hours before falling asleep.
Most campers are, at this precise moment, wholly unaware that their fathers are looking for temporary sublets and are experiencing a level of carefree, joyful buoyancy that experts say they will never feel again.
The majority of campers currently have, on average, 16 days until their lives come crashing down around them, at which point their parents will pick them up from camp, drive them to a restaurant, and then break the news that while they'll always be a family, they won't be living together anymore.
I love camp this year. It's so much fun. Mom sent me so many care packages. Dad even sent one. It's awesome.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free. Join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. That's where people are hanging out pretty much all of the time, day or night. There's folks in our Discord server talking about various different things in different chat rooms. But during the show, you can use the call-in lines to get on the air with us tonight. You've got Ian here.
Michael.
And Vincent.
And a lot of libertarians got to know the Tom Woods show during the Ron Paul campaigns. Actually, a correction, they got to know Tom Woods. He launched his show after the Ron Paul campaigns. He started his show in September of 2013, and he's racked up over 1,200 episodes so far, interviewing folks like Ron Paul and Judge Andrew Napolitano and more. Topics including war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, which, by the way, that's in the news again today, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find the Tom Woods Show online over at tomwoods.com or search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. As we continue here, we will, of course, take your calls about what you want. Let's go to the Discord on-air call-in line room where Big Jim Fridge is on the line. Hello, Big Jim.
Hey, Ian. Hey, Michael. Hey, Vincent. How are you guys doing today?
Welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. We're actually on the air there now in Las Cruces.
Oh, cool. I'm watching on Twitch. I'll have to check that out on the radio.
Excellent. Go ahead with your thoughts. We're on KNVR, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Well, I had a pretty bad day today at the polls. I don't know how your guys' experience was, but
what happened?
So here in Doña Ana County, you can vote at any voting place. It's kind of a convenient thing. When I lived in Bernalillo County in New Mexico, you could do that too.
That's cool, because then if you work across town, you can just find a voting place that's nearby where you work rather than having to go and travel all the way over to whatever your assigned voting place would
exactly.
be. That's different. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing that we do out here in New Mexico. But so I went to, I must have been a half dozen different polling places, but I kept getting turned away. They wouldn't let me. I was really excited to go vote for Gary Johnson for senator, but they turned away. Each one turned me away. They said, you have to wear a shirt if you want to go into the polling place. And it's Topless Tuesday, and I had to refuse.
Really? They do make you wear a shirt? That's really, is that against your rights?
No shirt, no shoes, no service?
But that's a commercial rule.
I had always heard that, it's obvious that you're not allowed to wear campaign materials in there, but I never saw anything that said you had to be clothed.
No, maybe it's because Gary Johnson's kind of running on a pro Topless Tuesday platform, they turned me away.
And they're
they were
discriminating.
afraid that would influence other people.
Voter suppression.
See, now here's what I would recommend in a situation like this: get a camera and pull out your phone when the precinct worker starts to mess with you, and say, well, hold that thought. Let me make sure I can get this on the record. And then just pull your phone up and say, can you say that again for me? And then they'll say, I'm telling you, you can't get in here unless you have a shirt on, son. And then you get it on video, and then you go to the media with that. Because unless you are engaging in if you're showing genitalia in most places, it's legal, right?
No, just nipples.
Yeah, so you should have been fine. Now in some places it's illegal to show female nipples, but that doesn't sound like it's your problem.
Now you could just get a couple of those "I voted" stickers and put them on your nipples and
pasties.
Yeah,
You gotta vote first to get those, though. It's the loophole. That's how they get you.
Good call tonight, Big Jim Fridge. I appreciate hearing from you. He's there on our Discord chat and the call-in lines there. You can join us over there at discord.lrn.fm. Now, Vincent, you went to vote today,
Yes, I did.
and you successfully made it to the polls.
Yes, it was a 2.5 mile walk from where I lived, and I'm glad I got a ride there, thankfully.
And it was the liberal group that you were talking about last week, I think. This next gen.
No, well, the so-called liberal group. It's actually just like state as a totalitarianism. But yeah,
sure.
next gen.
They call themselves progressive.
Progressive,
Right.
that's good. Yeah, progressive. So they had a tent. It's like, and they had shuttles. The shuttles, they didn't have like their logo on it, but I guess they're like borrowed vehicles or whatnot. Yeah, they
Just
had,
normal cars or like vans?
Vans.
Okay.
Vans. And so I decided, I'm like, it was a last minute decision. I said, whatever, I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna go cancel out someone else's vote. So I look up how to get to the polls, and then Next Gen NH has like a tweet show up, and I said, oh, okay, some irony here. So I show up, and they're just constant rotations. They take some people, drive to the polls. They had a sample ballot because there's 2 constitutional amendment propositions on the ballot.
I didn't even see them. When I was voting, I knew they were going to be there, and I just went down the list of the names that they were, the normal races, and I just didn't even see them. I guess they were down at the very bottom or something like that.
Yeah, and they would give a sample ballot just because people were taking too long to read it. So then they go in, register to vote, or just straight up go and vote. And I did, and I did in like record time, they said.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you get to vote for probably a libertarian for the first time in your life. No, I guess you could have voted for Gary Johnson in 2016, but I don't think you did. And I wouldn't blame you either, because I wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to vote for Gary Johnson. But you did actually vote for at least one libertarian this time around?
2 this time around.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And to find out who, you have to wait till questioning authority.
Are you going to reveal it?
Oh,
You're
yes,
going to reveal how you
I
voted?
I took a picture of a ballot.
Oh, right on. Which used to be illegal, by the way.
I was worried about it. I positioned myself so no one could see behind me, and I took the picture.
It's not illegal anymore. That got overturned.
Oh, that's good.
It was the
illegal to take a picture of the ballot. Isn't it still illegal in some states?
It might be. I don't know. That would be a question you'd have to research on your own in any given state. But in New Hampshire, it was overturned by the New Hampshire Supreme Court, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because I've been seeing chatter on Facebook all day that it's illegal to take a selfie with your ballot.
In various different other places,
different
you mean?
states, yeah.
It's ridiculous. The idea is somehow that's going to be manipulated by people trying to threaten you into voting a certain way and demanding that you take a picture to prove that you voted a certain way is the excuse I've heard proffered for that particular law.
But at that point, you've already voted.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing. So anyway, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. So, Vincent, you wanted to address 4 myths about college students and voting. And you've got a story?
Yeah, I have right here, NPR. So the very independent, non-national. So 4 myths about college students and voting. This was published today by Courtney Rosin, and I'll just be reading. Opening on campus early voting sites, installing a practice voting booth with sample ballots, and throwing election turnout parties. These are some of the ways college campuses across the country are trying to get students to vote in Tuesday's midterm election. And analysts expect those efforts will help. New research shows young people plan to vote in record numbers. But keep in mind, the records are low. 2014 marked the lowest youth turnout and voter registration rates in about 40 years.
Wow.
We have nowhere to go but up, says Nancy.
Pretty much.
Well, that's optimistic.
Says Nancy Thomas, a researcher who studies college student voter participation at Tufts University. 40% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they will, quote, definitely vote in the 2018 midterm elections, according to the Harvard Institute of Politics' most recent national youth poll. That's compared with
They're hammering it all over the place, by the way.
Absolutely.
On the internet today, there was a notice on Reddit about voting.
YouTube, Facebook.
Facebook.
Google had it right
Google,
there.
yeah.
They changed the Google logo to the words "Go Vote" on the Google homepage. Even on my Tinder app, there was a reminder to go and vote.
Gee, I wonder what's behind. I'm sure it's the best intentions all these big tech companies have of wanting people to go out and vote.
Can't imagine why they'd want people to vote.
Especially now. I mean, it's not like they could get power or anything by doing that.
You're suggesting that they are likely lefties that are running the tech companies?
I'm saying it's most certainly 100%
we know
lefties
they
running
are.
it.
I mean,
although you did have there was that, what was it, DC unfriends the tech industry.
yeah,
That looked interesting.
I do have a bit of show prep here.
But no,
about
it's absolutely right, absolutely. And it's like the young people, because they assume that young people are going to vote their way. So that's why they're trying to mobilize as many young people to vote as possible, even though a lot of young people shouldn't be voting because a lot of young people are incredibly ignorant.
They don't know what they're doing.
Oh, no, they could barely read above a junior high reading level.
Right. Didn't you just get it instructed to cut your
to dumb down my
down?
dumb down my writing.
Right, because you write for the school newspaper, and apparently you use too many big words.
Apparently I speak English.
Yeah, apparently you speak English fluently.
There's more coming up here in moments. You can join us. It is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Hearing a lot about CBD these days? Yes, but which CBD products can you trust? Which website can provide proper education about CBD along with high-quality products? The answer? CBDonly.com. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of hundreds of compounds found in the cannabis plant and one that contains a variety of medicinal benefits. Many doctors are starting to recommend CBD to their patients as an alternative or supplement to some pharmaceutical medications. CBD is becoming widely known to relieve pain, inflammation, and anxiety. Unlike THC that is found in the plant, CBD does not have psychoactive effects. In other words, it does not give the effect of being high. All CBDonly.com products are lab tested to ensure the highest quality standards. Shop CBDonly.com for CBD oils, edibles, vapes, skincare, even CBD for your pets. That's CBDonly.com. And to receive 15% off your order on CBDonly.com, use discount code CBDNOW. Remember, shop for CBD products you can trust. Shop CBDonly.com, your CBD superstore.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever is on your mind here. Just dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE. We're talking about college students and voting. There's apparently several myths that NPR is going to go over, and you've got that story, Vincent. We're going to get into that. Plus, D.C. versus the tech industry. There's a story that you've got about that. Michael Hampton and I'm Ian Freeman. You can also join us in our Discord chat over at discord.lrn.fm and jump on into one of our Discord call-in line rooms, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. By the way, I do want to thank Troy, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier, meaning that Troy gives $5 per month to Free Talk Live via the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a way for you to support what we do here. We talk about the ideas of liberty and peace and cryptocurrency 7 nights a week, live on the radio, also podcast and streaming and satellite and a variety of different ways to get Free Talk Live into your ears. But if you want us to get on more radio stations, if you want us to bring new internet listeners on board, the AMP program is the way to do that. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's essentially our promotional budget and advertising budget to get Free Talk Live out there into more people. And you can help support that by becoming an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. And yes, you can use Bitcoin BTC, PayPal, and Visa and MasterCard. And I've heard that American Express works, but honestly, I've never tested it. I wouldn't know how. I don't have one and never have. So, and no one else has bothered to try it either, so we don't know if that actually works. But the other ways do. So go to amp.freetalklive.com. Vincent, where do we leave off here in this story?
So we left off here. 40% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they will definitely vote in the 2018 midterm elections, according to Harvard Institute of Politics.
40%.
40%.
Well, I don't believe it.
Well,
what was the turnout in 2014?
2014.
Didn't they say it was like it scraped an absolute low?
The lowest youth turnout and voter registration rates in about 40 years.
But it didn't say what it was.
No, right. Not in this article.
All right.
But just because students say they'll vote doesn't mean they'll actually cast a ballot on Election Day, says John Della Volpe, the Institute's director of polling. Still, it's possible youth activism, which Thomas says increased after the 2016 election, will motivate even more students to vote. It has certainly already motivated more young people to register, Della Volpe says. I think that for the first time, possibly, students are making the connection that if they want to see things change, they can't protest and rally and fight for their causes. They can't just protest and rally and fight for their causes, says Zenita Daver, director of
As though voting's really going to change anything. That's the big, lie here is that, well, voting really makes a difference, kids. And the reality is, voting's pretty insignificant, as Mark has pointed out an inordinate number of times here. According to America Goes to the Polls 2014, they actually do say, they break down the numbers here. The share of the voting electorate of voters under the age of 40 dropped dramatically from 36% in 2012 to just 26% in 2014. So what was the age range that said they were going to, you said 40% say they were going to vote?
18 to 29-year-olds.
Okay, so it's not quite exactly apples to apples. So yours is 18 to 29, 40% saying. Here they're saying that people under the age of 40, it was 36% voted in 2012, and then only 26% voted in 2014. And I suspect the people between 30 and 40, that range that's not in your range, are more likely to vote than the people up to the age of 30.
Well, 2014 also was a midterm year. I imagine more people vote for presidential elections just because it's
it's the big one.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Yeah, that's true. And it does say here midterm turnout is consistently 15 to 25 points lower than the presidential years. So yeah, you're right.
And so here we go. Zanita Daver, director of the All In Campus Democracy Challenge, said they actually need to act. And by acting, I mean participating in elections. This isn't the first election cycle in which colleges are taking an interest in wherever students vote, says Clarissa Unger, leader of the Students Learn, Students Vote Coalition, a group that promotes civic engagement on college campuses. Colleges across the country have been working on boosting student voter turnout since at least 2012, when the Department of Education published a report calling on universities to increase civic engagement on campus.
And of course, as a larger perspective, this has been going on since I can remember in the 1990s when MTV came out with the Rock the Vote campaign.
Yeah, the Rock the Vote, vote or die,
And I even saw, I was at a concert on Thursday night last week. I went down to Providence to see the Crystal Method play, which was my first foray into the world of electronic music back in the late 90s. And he even had a Rock the Vote button. So, he had it right on him. They are pimping that hard, and they do it every single year, and it doesn't make a difference.
There's new 18-year-olds every year,
but it doesn't make a difference. Get
it's
all
about the same,
right? Put a bunch of stars out there. Have the stars say go and vote, and it doesn't seem like it really matters.
So there's a lot more filler here. I'm just going to skip straight to the myths. There's also some misconceptions about college student voters. Thomas from Tufts University Institute of Democracy and Higher Education explains a few of them and why they're wrong.
All right, let's hear it.
Myth number 1, students are uninformed. College students have access to an academic environment to get informed before they vote, making them knowledgeable voters. Well, no, they have.
But that doesn't mean they use it.
Yeah, they have access
doesn't mean they use
to
it, or that they're actually being taught something other than propaganda.
Right.
Well, so yeah, and NPR is just total pro-state propaganda. I mean, they're just getting lazier and lazier, coming up for equivocating and lies. Like, that's not even refuting it. If all three of us were able to get the same conclusion from that.
Pathetic.
Myth number 2: most college students vote from out of state.
Well, before you go on,
this is a whole lead the horse to water thing. Kind of.
Well, but before you go on about the college students not being informed, okay, sure, they have the resources at their fingertips. Not just the fact that they're on a college campus, but internet, right? Anybody who wants to be informed now has no excuse to not be informed if they want to be. They can just go and do it. But even in the case of James Cleveland, who was a former host here on Free Talk Live, he actually targeted the college. He specifically moved into a college neighborhood so he could run for state representative from the college neighborhood, so he could go to the college regularly and campaign to the college students, hoping that would make a difference. And I knew it wasn't going to work, but I wanted to see how badly it was going to fail. He was well represented amongst the college students as far as they knew who he was. He was flyering them regularly. He would go down on the party nights, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, walk around the neighborhoods and flyer. We had these great flyers which showed him at some kind of a party. It said YOLO 420 blaze it on the front of the flyer in big caps.
Wait, he didn't get elected?
Believe it or not, it was almost impossible to get the college students who purported to actually support him, to the point where he would walk down one of the college streets in the college neighborhood, and there would be chants of his name. So when I say they knew who he was, I'm not exaggerating. There was Cleveland, a bunch of drunk jocks and these girls. And you would think that he would have had a chance, but no.
But Mike,
clearly
I think
they're not voting while they're drunk.
Well, I think you're underestimating the just the sheer ignorance of the. I think it's fair to say most Americans
underestimate it.
Oh, I'm saying Mike in this case. I was talking to someone, and I just I didn't want to talk about politics, but I mentioned my viewpoint on something, and this person, she's like, oh, yeah, I don't really know much about politics. I guess I should take a class and learn. And I'm like, you need
that would be a good idea.
No.
Just go learn. You don't have to take a class.
Make your own. Yeah, like
learn,
first off, a class you have to pay hundreds of dollars each day to attend.
And you're just going to get propaganda.
You're going to get someone else's opinion. I'm like, you can't make your own opinion. And like instead of saying, oh, I'm going to watch the news, which is bad in itself on its own, saying, oh, I'm going to get it from a college professor, someone who's like a card carrying communist for the past 50 years. Like it's absolutely ridiculous.
You
it's
raise
shocking.
a good point.
I'm like, I feel
one of
like
the worst ideas to take a class.
I feel like the time traveler in H.G. Wells, the time machine, all the e-lawyer around me and stuff, and they're like, oh, just playing in the flowers, and then the government's like the Morlocks and are ready to just take them and cannibalize them and kill them. It's awful. I'm like, people, wake up!
I'll give her credit for wanting to learn.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take a class to do it. Most people haven't even registered for classes, even though it's been past time to do it. Like I heard a figure like 70% of people in one class didn't register, and it's been weeks since we had to.
Sure, but this just shows the attitude, the attitude of, oh, well, the only way I can learn is to take a class.
Yeah, have someone else teach me.
I can't just go and learn, even though all the world's knowledge is now at my fingertips on the very device she probably has in her purse or in her hand at that very moment. No, we still want to go through the old system of signing up for some old institution, paying, as you pointed out, hundreds of dollars
a day,
having to show up on some sort of schedule, likely early in the morning, and then sit and absorb whatever propaganda is being bellowed from the front of the classroom.
She probably doesn't have unlimited data on her phone anymore.
She's on a college campus. They've got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, dude.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Where were we at on this list of 4 things?
Number 2.
Okay, we're going to get to number 2 coming up. And your calls and thoughts are welcome if you want to weigh in here on election night. This is Free Talk Live. Open phones as always.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.68 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,235 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,422. Antiwar.com reports once again underscoring how vulnerable the region is. Taliban forces attacked and overran a key security post around the outskirts of the Afghan city of Ghazni. The city has been contested in the past, and this is one of the several posts which aim to encircle the city and keep the Taliban from raiding. The Taliban took the post, killing 13 Afghan troops and wounding 13 others. The Taliban statement claimed 18 were killed and that they'd seized a large quantity of weapons stored at the post. It's unclear if taking the post is meant to be a prelude to a new Taliban incursion into the city of Ghazni, or simply an attempt to force security forces to commit more defenses, making other parts of the country vulnerable. Afghan officials say that they inflicted heavy casualties on the Taliban in the fight as well. The Taliban controls several areas around Ghazni province and have been making gains in areas across Afghanistan, forcing the military onto the defensive. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday refused a request by the Trump administration and the telecommunications industry to wipe away a lower court decision that had upheld Obama-era net neutrality rules aimed at ensuring a free and open internet, though the justice's actions does not undo the 2017 repeal of the policy. The court decision not to throw out the 2016 U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit ruling leaves a legal precedent in place that could help net neutrality supporters in any future legal battle if the policy is ever reintroduced. The rules, championed by former President Barack Obama, intended to safeguard equal access to content on the internet, was opposed by President Donald Trump. The Trump administration and the telecom industry had wanted to erase the 2016 ruling, even though the FCC in December voted to repeal the net neutrality rules. The policy reversal went into effect in June. The Supreme Court's brief order noted that 3 of the court's conservative justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch, would have thrown out the appeal court decision. Neither Chief Justice John Roberts nor Brett Kavanaugh participated in the decision. The Department of Justice has also filed suit to block California's state net neutrality law from taking effect in January. The state agreed in October to delay enforcement of the law pending appeals of the net neutrality reversal. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the social media site officials say a gunman used to post anti-Semitic messages before killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue is back online after finding a new domain host. Domain registrar startup Epic has agreed to host Gab after the site went dark last week when host GoDaddy pulled its affiliation after the October 27th shooting. Authorities say the suspect, Robert Bowers, used Gab to post anti-Semitic messages. Gab bills itself as a social media platform for free speech and individual liberties, but has been criticized as a haven for hate speech. Epic chief executive Rob Monster told the Seattle Times on Sunday he believes in free speech and thinks Gab will be aggressive in stamping out violent rhetoric. Monster said, "I do believe the guys that are on the site are vigilant." The Epic CEO also said he met with Gab founder Andrew Torba before making his decision to accept the social media site. Monster wrote, "Although I did not take the decision lightly to accept this domain registration, I look forward to partnering with a young and once brash CEO who is courageously doing something that looks useful." Gab found another supporter Sunday in the Washington Post editorial board, which said the platform should be allowed to keep operating. The board said if the internet belongs to everyone, it might belong to Gab too. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Everyone needs to get a justice shed. So you have a place to throw that little juvenile delinquent you caught loitering out on the street corner. This is not rocket science, people. I just call up my neighbors, Frank and Terry. We get out there with baseball bats, fishing nets, and we knock that suspect out. And we toss him in our justice shed. We just start dealing out some shovel beatings. That's democracy, people. That's the biggest benefit of the Justice Shed, people. You are in charge.
Our Justice Shed was all filled up, so we created this Justice Cage. It's just as good. These guys, I think we caught them shoplifting, and this is my daughter's boyfriend.
Look, if you don't have a yard big enough to place a Justice Shed in, go out and get yourself a Justice Barrel. I don't care. The important thing is to take control of your safety by any means necessary.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program here. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE as we're here on election night with you tonight. It's Ian.
Michael.
And Vincent.
Mark is out tonight. He is at some kind of fireman's meeting. So good to have you guys in here. We're talking about some election-related stuff, but we don't have to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the news, including apparently police robots are becoming a thing in one city in India, and they're not the only place as well. So, and
are we going to have RoboCop soon?
They're actually calling it a RoboCop. That's actually what they're. It does not appear to be a satire site. So we'll tell you more about that coming up here. We were in the midst of a story that you brought in to share, Vincent, of NPR, 4 myths about college students and voting. We'd been through the first myth, which was the claim that what?
What's the myth? The myth that students are uninformed.
And then they answered that by claiming that, well, they're going to school, so they could be informed. Well, that doesn't mean they actually are.
Yeah, well, no, not even that. Saying they go to school, so they are knowledgeable voters.
No.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it said. Making them knowledgeable voters.
Oh, it says that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, having access to an academic environment makes them knowledgeable voters. Right. Not actually learning anything.
That's what they said, though, right? That just having access makes them knowledgeable.
Well, yeah, and it goes into the whole cult of college, saying just because someone has this piece of paper that they got from a 4-year university that more than half their credits they learned something other than what they have for the piece of paper, that makes them more qualified than someone I know with actual experience.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous mythology, but it's very pervasive because every government school has it in their curriculum to basically pitch college to all the students. And so whenever people graduate from high school, they believe the myth that
everybody has to go to college.
Or else you won't be successful,
right.
is what
Which
they
is
want
not
you to
true,
believe
but
is false. And there's plenty of examples of why that's false. There's so many people who've been tremendously successful with the absence of a college degree. There are people who have been not just tremendously successful, just normally successful, right? Just like typical success, simply because they didn't have $100,000 in debt to pay off for the next 40 years.
Exactly, yeah. College degree might actually be a detriment because if an employer sees that, the first thing they think is, oh, wow, how much debt is this person in?
Right. That's one of the questions I'd like to know from people in college. Like, what'd you end up with? What's your debt when you walked out the door? I mean, it's an embarrassing thing. Yeah, it's an embarrassing thing to talk about, but it's one of the most relevant. All right, what's number 2 on the list?
So myth number 2 is most college students vote from out of state. About 85%, and this is their refutation of it, about 85% of college students in Tufts' data set, which included about 10 million students in 2016, are voting in the state they attend college. That doesn't mean they're all from the same state as their college, but most are, Thomas says. Not too controversial.
So that's one I hadn't heard. I had never heard the myth that college students are going to do an absentee vote from the state from which they have come. That's what they're saying the myth is. That that just doesn't fly at all with the sort of college ethos of laziness that I've known. I mean, first of all, the odds are the college student isn't going to vote at all. Of those who are going to vote, then it's easier to just go and vote where you are because you don't have to go through the hassle of getting whatever absentee
This one's
ballot.
probably actually right.
What, this myth?
No, the refutation of the myth.
Yes, that's correct.
So myth number 3 here, college students all vote for Democrats.
Well, not all of them.
Well,
but I bet the majority.
College students right now are leaning left, but they don't all vote Democrat.
Not all?
No kidding.
Wow. Not every single one, not 100%
right.
Objectively, not every.
It's probably 70% or something.
It's probably,
like that.
yeah. It's probably, well, I don't know if it'd be that high, but it's certainly a lot.
No? What do you think it is?
Oh, I can't really tell just because the culture, the atmosphere on campus fosters progressive thinking. So people naturally are scared to
scared to come out of the closet.
Yeah, and yes,
as a Republican,
so to speak. Yeah, or anything that isn't to the left of Elizabeth Warren. Like I knew someone who complained saying their teacher or their professor tried to fire them from their TA job just because they shared a conservative meme on their Facebook page.
Wow.
So get off my Facebook page.
So that's from the vocal people. Imagine how many other people aren't vocal, for whether they're libertarians or green. Well, Greens will probably be catered to on there. Libertarians, conservatives, whatever, right? And so I think there's probably more than one would think, but it's definitely just because of how the brainwashing goes and sheeple and groupthink. It's probably mainly or progressive, left leaning.
Gotcha. Number 4 on the list.
College education pushes students to the left.
Well. Why do they call that a
true.
myth?
Well,
I want to hear this. I want to hear the refutation.
Yeah,
on this
let's hear. I'm just sitting. I read ahead and I've got something to say.
Okay.
Research shows college students come to college with formed ideas, and that attending college isn't likely to move them politically to the left. Quote. They are not these sort of empty vessels where you tip off the top of their head and pour knowledge into it, Thomas says.
No, what they do is they lop off the top of your head, scoop everything out, and pour their stuff in.
A lobotomy. They just lobotomize them.
Although I will say plenty of people go in with having no idea.
Yeah, of course.
So notice this, right? This guy, he's just some expert on it. He doesn't cite any outside reference. It's just the fact that he's, part
he's
of
a guy from Tufts University.
Yeah.
Which, from what I understand, is a very left-leaning university.
The majority of them are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are. I think it's isn't it a graduate school, Tufts? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
it's a private university.
Is it private? Okay, because of course, all these so-called private universities are still taking government money, right? Like,
of course
almost
they are.
all of them take government
money.
money.
And they benefit from the government loans also.
Yeah, right. And so I remember there was a girl in Keene. Oh, man, it must have been close to a decade ago. So we're here in Keene, New Hampshire, which is kind of like the activist epicenter in New Hampshire. It always has been. And when you do activism, when you kind of put yourself out there, there are going to be haters, people who hate what you do. And even if they don't even have the intellect to have a reason why they hate you, they just hate you because they don't want to see you protesting or whatever it is. But there was a girl who was pretty intellectual, and I forget what her name was, but she was the daughter of the owner of a Main Street coffee shop here. And she headed up a group called Free Keene from the Free Keene Stigma. Really long name, but that's what they called themselves. And she was from Tufts University. So she was like a total commie, straight up, Marxist leftist who ended up, interestingly, moving to Washington, D.C., so I'm glad she's not here anymore, but just, it's like, oh, that's the kind of person that they crank out at Tufts. And obviously, it's a case study, but still.
Right. That's not representative of everyone at Tufts. There must be someone that comes out of there that isn't a leftist. But
anyway, Vincent.
It's not just today's college kids that vote at low rates. Baby boomers and Generation X, the two generations that preceded millennials, voted at low rates when they were young adults too, explains Harvard's Della Volpe. And this generation could change that, frankly.
Yeah,
he says. And that's the end.
Oh, well, they didn't really refute very much the idea that the college. They just basically said, we don't just take their heads off and
it writes
studies
out.
Show
it writes out like a corporate PR Q&A page, right? They have their thing in bold, and then they have their little canned, pre-written response.
That's NPR, National Public Relations.
Exactly. So, interesting story. Thanks for sharing that with us here. Maybe you're on a college campus and you want to share with us your experience today or over the last few weeks, because last week, Vincent, when you were in here on Tuesday night, you shared with us a voting propaganda flyer that was being handed out on campus by the very same people who were there giving people rides
Give me a ride, yeah.
to the polls. I was actually surprised when I'd asked you off the air, when you were in the van with these people, did they ask you anything about how you intended to vote or try to push a candidate on you? And you said they didn't.
No.
So, I mean, I guess they deserve some credit for not trying a last-minute desperate push. Was there any kind of flyering going on today as well that you saw?
Yeah, it was like raining pretty hard today, and people were intense. I think like the reason why they give the rides is because they figure that they're going to give rides to more left. They're more inclined to give a ride to someone left-leaning by doing a college campus, so they might as well, right?
Well, no, it's just something that may be true,
that's
but
100%
it's
why
just something they do because they know how apathetic college students are. They know that if it's the difference between having to take themselves versus having someone take them, it may get them a few more votes. And yes, they certainly are aware that college students are more likely to lean left. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, election night. You can call in about anything that you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. eGifter's got many of the world's leading brands on their roster, and it's now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your preference with Bitcoin Cash. Like Domino's, Home Depot, Uber, Applebee's, Hotels.com, Nike, and hundreds more. Just go to giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. And then sit tight, and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com. As we continue here talking about college voting myths, we've been through the list of 4 myths as presented by NPR. And the final myth was the idea that colleges turn out students who are left-leaning. And I think it's pretty crystal clear that that's a true statement. I mean, everybody who's been to college, who's ever called this show over the 16 years we've been doing Free Talk Live, has basically said that that's the case, that the professors tend to be left-leaning, the curriculum tends to be left-leaning. And that's not to say I'm a right-winger, okay? So I'm not, I don't want them to go to the right either. I would prefer they not be inculcating the students with any particular viewpoint.
Right.
Present them all and, let somebody make a decision for themselves.
And it could be pretty drastic, too. Like, I've seen, there's, whole collages on the internet of it takes someone's say senior high school picture and they look healthy, they're smiling, they're happy. Let's say usually it's a girl, and then it shows after college and it shows pictures, half her head is shaved, they have piercings all over her face, they look angry, miserable, or it's her mugshot because they're part of Antifa. And it's I don't know, just some sort of mental illness that spreads through these colleges. I don't know what it I've been there for almost 3 years now, and I can't even say what it is.
Can you feel it? I mean, is it sucking the life out of you? Taking away your will to be an individual? I mean, what are they doing?
Well, I mean, because of my unique life experience. Everyone's life experience is unique. I mean, I'm able to weather it, right? I've always been an outsider, so but sometimes I do feel I was coming back from a social event. And I thought to myself, man, I wish I could be someone else because I just can't, I just can't fit into the crowd. And it's there's a lot of social pressure to all think the same way, to not, it's like 1984 pretty much, except instead of it being forced by the government, it's just
it's
people.
Social pressure.
It's social pressure, yeah, and it's sort of fostered by the professors and by some of the faculty there who enforce diversity of thought and stuff, when really it's not diversity of thought at all. It's just submit to their authority.
Think the way that we say to think, and then you'll get along with us.
Oh, absolutely. Freedom is slavery, war is
peace. You do whatever the
and
professor tells you to do.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. In fact, our first caller of the evening had brought up this idea of cultural Marxism, and Michael, you found a story about that. I pulled it up here. Actually, it's a little bit
very lengthy, so I didn't really want to read it on the air.
But it does say here, don't blame Karl Marx for cultural Marxism. Political correctness isn't a communist plot. I'll just read the beginning of the piece here, and we'll see if it'll spark a little bit of conversation. It says, the list of developments for which cultural Marxism has been blamed includes the following: the LGBT rights movement, especially the legal push to eliminate sodomy laws and legitimize gay marriage, activism for transgender acceptance and recognition, the increase in divorce at the end of the 20th century, and a decrease in nuclear family formation.
Well, that's Lucifer's behind all of that, obviously.
African Americans protesting police abuse, art and music that fails to follow familiar genre conventions, increased depictions of a variety of races, genders, and sexualities in popular media, acceptance of immigrants and the cultural pluralism they bring, and a lack of tolerance for non-liberal ideas on college campuses. This bill of particulars is not new, especially from conservatives. The twist was to begin dragging Karl Marx into it. Here's how the narrative goes. After the horrific deaths of millions, global communism may have been discredited as a viable economic system, but its proponents want to sneak it in perniciously through the back door via cultural decadence. Thus, political correctness is part of a lefty long con to take over America. You have to give the conspiratorial right credit for clever rhetorical deck stacking at least. How can you approve of sympathetic gay people appearing in yogurt commercials if it's all a commie plot? It may be comforting to believe your ideological foes are dupes of manipulative intellectual fiends, but declaring that advocates of multiculturalism, feminism, and gay rights are the pawns of dead Jewish communists is both mistaken as a matter of cultural history and foolish as a way to sell an alternate ideology. You won't win the day by treating people who merely disagree with you as stalking horses for socialist tyranny.
Ian, are you sure this isn't an alt-right website? They just suddenly called them Jewish communists. I mean, I didn't hear any talk about Jews before. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't know much about...
Oddvade mentioned that. It's sort of just, I came out of a blue there.
I don't know much about Brian Doherty, but he's the author over in, I guess this is from the November 2018 issue of Reason magazine. We can link to this on our social media, so you can check that out. As we go to your calls and thoughts here, we're going to...
Of course, a Koch brother-funded magazine defends Karl Marx.
We're going to talk to Full Steam Ahead on our on-air call-in line on Discord. Hello there.
Hey, how's it going tonight, Ian?
Hey, we got you. Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm here in the U.S.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I was calling to talk about this Vin Armani video that I watched yesterday. It was live streamed yesterday, and I guess it's been put on YouTube again today. It's about what's going on with Bitcoin Cash. Is this something that you've heard about?
Well, actually, it's interesting you bring that up because I actually had a small story tonight about apparently there's an impending, it's going to happen in like 9 days, apparently. Bitcoin Cash is going to hard fork, and there's a possibility that it's going to split into two competing versions of itself, as the original Bitcoin BTC did back in August of 2017 when it split into BTC and BCH, aka Bitcoin Cash.
Bitcoin Cash.
But I don't know a whole lot of the details behind like what the allegations are. I know there's two warring factions, but I'm not sure what exactly they're warring over. I have not really looked into it. So what do you what do you know about this?
Well, I pretty much just know what I saw in the video that Vin Armani put out. And I have a lot of respect for Vin Armani. I've been following him for quite
I love Vin Armani. He's actually going to be on our show next Tuesday. He comes in once a month here on Free Talk Live. So, but anyway, he's not here to say to talk about the video, but it sounds like you're not attacking him. You're actually praising him. So go ahead with what do you have to say about it?
Let me do as best I can to kind of recant I'll try and do justice to what he put in the video because it's extremely important. This is why I'm taking the time to call in tonight, because it's basically a hostile takeover. It's very much unlike the situation between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin when it took place in August of last year. This is Craig Wright and some On-Chain or some other company. The name of the company is On-Chain, I believe. I'm sorry?
N-Chain?
Yes, that's it. Thank
Remember,
you.
Craig, the name, for those who aren't familiar, Craig Wright, he made some headlines a couple years ago now, I think, at this point, when there was an article that came out, a real in-depth article about how they, I forget if it was Wired or one of these magazines, tech magazines, did an investigation, and they believed that Craig Wright was Satoshi Nakamoto, who was the creator of Bitcoin. And so if you can hang on full steam ahead, we're going to bring you back. We'll find out what is in the future here for Bitcoin Cash. So that's who this guy is. Craig Wright is the guy who was alleged to have been Satoshi Nakamoto. He sort of made it sound like he might have been Satoshi Nakamoto, but he couldn't prove it.
Oh, this guy is not Satoshi.
No. There's more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the purest for you and your family. For over 14 years, thousands have depended on Berkey Clean Water. The Berkey guy has you covered at home, work, and on the go. With water filtration systems of every size for every budget. Now GCN listeners receive 10% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN at GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We're back with more Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. It's 855-450-3733. The Blink Home Security System, HD cameras, wireless. It is a quality system that is surprisingly affordable, and Amazon must have really liked it because they bought the company. So now Blink works with Alexa, and there's no contracts and no subscriptions. You get a very nice wireless home security system by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You'll save because you're a Free Talk Live listener. In fact, you can get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 now over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. Batteries last up to 2 years. They're just standard AA's, so when you have to replace them eventually, no problem finding more. And they set up super fast because they're wireless, meaning you don't have to drag a bunch of wires through walls or hang them or wherever it is you'd have to put them in order to get them to the cameras. You just put the camera wherever you want. If you need to change the angle, maybe you got it a little wrong the first time, no problem. You can move it.
Yeah, just move it just a little bit. Yeah,
or wherever. Move it across the room if you need to. It's no problem at all. It's very, very nice, and it sets up fast. Plus, they're configurable as far as when you want them to operate. They'll send you clips of what happens in front of them, and these actually have microphones on them, by the way, which is very unusual for security cameras. Normally, you don't get that with security cameras. It's just straight video. This actually has a mic, which is nice to have.
Nice to have, yeah.
Yep, blinkprotect.com/FTLs. We continue here. We've got full steam ahead on the line He's on our on-air call-in line on Discord. And you said you watched a video by sometime Free Talk Live host Vin Armani, who's really a great host. I really enjoy having him on Free Talk Live. But he's really into the world of Bitcoin Cash, and he made a warning video about some sort of coming war in Bitcoin Cash. What's this all about?
Yes, that's correct. He called it a hash war. It's because of the split that's coming up, this hard fork that's coming up on Bitcoin Cash.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is Craig Wright, pretty much you get a good overview of him. He's a self-professed statist from the standpoint that he has no qualms at all about using the state to support his patent intellectual property rights that he's pushing forward, and so he's definitely a statist from what I can see from him. And he in this in-chain,
which means he's probably not Satoshi Nakamoto. This is the guy who once again was claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto. He couldn't prove it. And anybody who actually is Satoshi Nakamoto could easily sign something with Satoshi's PGP key, as I understand it, and prove that they are indeed Satoshi Nakamoto.
Satoshi can come out whenever he wants.
He could probably
prove it.
He could probably prove it in two ways. At least two ways. One, to sign something with the original Satoshi PGP key, or two, to show that he has possession of the Genesis block. I think that would also be the very first block from Bitcoin.
The third way, he could just spend some of the money that he's saved away too, and that would any control of those funds that are sitting there would show who's the Satoshi.
Yeah, and he couldn't do it. And so you're saying this guy's heading up an effort to try to take over, hostile takeover on Bitcoin Cash?
Exactly. I mean, first of all, let's back up a little bit and kind of look at things a little more philosophical and more broadly. This is all about centralization. If this can occur, if this happens, and he's able to wrangle control away from and get all the hash power, convince all the miners to switch their hash power over to the Craig Wright new chain that he's going to start, then it's obviously centralized, and we don't have that protection that we thought we did have. So,
people for a long time.
It's not a unique project. There are a ton of crypto projects that are centralized in this manner. So,
there's been a long claim that Bitcoin Cash is centralized with a bunch of Chinese miners, but there have been people who've been refuting those claims. And further, I mean, is this really something to be concerned about? I've already heard about, from what little I know, okay, so I am coming at this from a somewhat ignorant perspective, but I've seen some of the headlines, and it seems like people are sticking with the original Bitcoin Cash people. So there's the Bitcoin ABC, which is the name of the official program that's essentially the Bitcoin Cash full node client. Yeah. And then there's this new Bitcoin, I think it's called Bitcoin SV. Is that what the challenger's called?
That's what I had read it's called. I haven't seen code yet. But
have you heard that full steam ahead?
No, I don't actually know what coin is going to be coming with the hard fork. I just know that they're going to be draining a lot of the hash power away.
Well, that's what they want. I mean, that's obviously what they want, right? So for listeners who aren't familiar, what happens here is Bitcoin Cash has been doing periodic what they call hard forks to upgrade the software, to make changes to the Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin ABC is what it's called, the software. And these happen, I believe, every 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. So they're doing it a couple times a year. And anytime this happens, there's a chance that somebody could try what you're saying, to gather enough mining power to break off and sort of follow their own road, so to speak, and basically what they call fork and split the Bitcoin Cash currency into two competing, at that moment, identical currencies, but they're going to be, again, changing Bitcoin Cash to these new parameters. So it would be like, well, we're going to go and keep going in the original direction over here on Bitcoin SV, and then over on this other side, Bitcoin ABC, we're going to go off in this direction. And if enough mining power exists on both sides, both of the coins will continue. And then you'll have two competing forms of Bitcoin Cash. And
I mean, pretty much what you said is correct, except for this, that it's really not a matter of when Bitcoin Cash does their hard forks. That's just a matter of maintenance. Anybody at any point in time,
they could do the same.
Hey, I've got a new coin, and I'm going to start getting a lot of hash power on my coin, and that could happen at any point in time.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. That could happen anytime. In fact, with Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin BTC, that's happened dozens of times since August of 2015. There's been like a couple dozen at least of these minor forks that have resulted in these
Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Atom, Bitcoin Diamond.
There's a bunch of them.
garbage, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Faking in and of itself is not a bad thing, as you're pointing out. It's the attitudes behind the people that are doing it, and it's also an issue of security with regard to the mining power that is being shifted from one place to another. If enough mining power is shifted away from Bitcoin Cash, it's going to be a bad situation for Bitcoin Cash, and it could have a very major impact on the price of Bitcoin Cash and its ability to be adopted. I mean, it's already kind of struggling in terms of the bigger adoption.
The last thing I saw earlier today is that this Craig Wright guy has maybe, if he's lucky, 30% of the mining power.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very many people are too worried about this. But, Vin Armani's concerned. He's definitely got his ear closer to the ground in the Bitcoin Cash community than I do. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll definitely take that seriously. On the other hand, you do have organizations that are saying they're going to be sticking with the original Bitcoin ABC. I wish I had the article pulled up that I had yesterday, but I know that Binance, which is the world's largest Bitcoin/cryptocurrency exchange, Binance is going to be supporting the fork. So they're going to be saying, okay, anybody that's on our exchange, if you have Bitcoin Cash, we're going to give you, if there's this new thing that comes out, we'll call it Bitcoin SV for lack of a better term, then we're going to give you that. Because if you have, let's say you have 10 Bitcoin Cash or 1 Bitcoin, whatever the amount is, you got 1 Bitcoin Cash. Well, after the fork, if you're on Binance with that 1 Bitcoin Cash, you'll have 1 Bitcoin Cash and whatever this new thing ends up being called.
Right. I haven't heard anything discussed.
That's what exchanges usually do.
Or other. Haven't heard anything discussed with regard to share dropping or splitting, where you get tokens from the new coin. I haven't heard anything about that. That would be logical for them to do to get more support. I have not heard anything about that.
The thing is, this is what worries me about it. I found a series of tweets from Craig Wright where he is basically promising to kill Bitcoin Cash. He's saying,
well, talk is cheap. I mean, anybody can say anything they want, but the question is, what are the miners going to do? And I suspect Craig Wright isn't in charge of all of the miners in
not nearly
the Bitcoin Cash world.
It'll be interesting. One last point, and I'll let go here, and that is
sure.
This is a good example of why we need to stay constantly vigilant. I mean, if we aren't on top of these situations, the same thing will happen to whatever coin is what happened to Bitcoin with Blockstream taking over and infiltrating that and steering it down. Now everything has kind of been restored to a reasonable level in terms of fees and what have you, but they're in control of it now. And so I don't use Bitcoin hardly at all anymore because of that fact. But that's the main point that I wanted to bring up was this Vin Armani video. I'd encourage people to watch.
And what was it called again? The name of the video? What is it?
Well, it's Hash Wars.
All right. That's thanks for the call. Full steam ahead. We got more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Dragons swallow evolution in one gulp. GodSaidMansaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. GodSaidMansaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously? You possess the world's greatest treasure. GodSaidMansaid.com. Life after death experiences, sin bones, St. Peter's fish, hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidMansaid.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We're talking about cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin Cash hash war, as it's being called. And so we can dig in a little bit deeper on that coming up here. It's Ian, Michael, and Vincent in the studio with you here tonight. You can, of course, bring up anything that's on your mind. Toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you want to follow Free Talk Live on social media, you can follow our Mastodon channel over on toot.freetalklive.com. I believe the three of us all have Mastodon accounts.
Yes, I do.
Personal. You don't? I thought you signed up, Vincent.
No, I've been busy.
Didn't I see you sign up on the Liberdon? You didn't sign up on Liberdon?
Okay, so I think I made an account. I just never put any pictures or did anything with it.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. So anyway, if you've been frustrated by the lack of stability when it comes to these centralized social media servers like Twitter and Facebook, and of course the constant spying and enabling of spying and all the awful things that they do over there, check out Mastodon. It's a decentralized platform. You can follow the Free Talk Live not tweets, but they're toots. So it's formatted like Twitter, but it's not like Twitter because it's decentralized, and it's also federated, which means that there are thousands of servers all around the planet, and they can all link to one another, and each server decides which servers they want to link to or not link to. And that's a much better system than having it all being decided by some CEO, somewhere of some company that you have no real influence over. So check it out over at toot.freetalklive.com. Or if you want to follow us on Twitter, we do still have an account there at twitter.freetalklive.com. Or you can just follow us right on the Telegram channel that we have for those posts at telegram.freetalklive.com.
com. Chris Pasha, who is a Free State Project participant. He's an yeah, I think so. He's an early mover here to New Hampshire as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration. He's also one of the programmers behind Open Bazaar, so he's deep in the world of cryptocurrency. I know him because he spoke at Keenvention a few years back on one of our Bitcoin panels. A real bright guy. He had this to say about this so-called hash war. He says Craig and Company, I guess, coined the term hash war to frame the debate positively in their favor. In reality, he says there is no hash war. And we're talking about the idea of Bitcoin Cash schisming and then two sides fighting over fighting over hash dominance. Hash has never and cannot possibly dictate how users value a coin. The war has always been for users, and it's clear that Craig is losing that war badly. According to the story at dashforcenews.com, Bitcoin Cash is facing a potential hash war between backers of the ABC and SV implementations, possibly resulting in disruption or even a chain split. The contention lies between two competing implementations of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin ABC, which intends to implement a variety of improvements to the network. This is the one that's been there. This is the one that's been there all along. And now this new Bitcoin SV, which focuses on, I don't know what that stands for, by the way, SV, which focuses on a more streamlined approach and a significantly increased block size. SV is mainly backed by companies called nChain and CoinGeek, while ABC counts support from Bitcoin.com, Coinbase, Binance, and a variety of others. In fact, there is a handy list over at a website called CoinDance. You can go to cash.coin.dance to see it for yourself. It's under the politics section, where it shows clearly this Bitcoin ABC has the bulk of the support so far. Now, obviously, nothing's going to be set in stone here. It could be a very fluid situation, and we won't really know how things play out until the actual split occurs.
So I did find out what SV stands for.
And what is it?
You will like this. It stands for Satoshi Vision.
Oh, of course, both sides likely believe they're following Satoshi's vision the closest. That used to be the original claim of Bitcoin Cash, was that it was more like Satoshi's vision than what Bitcoin BTC had become. So now you've got the guy who claimed to be Satoshi, but never proved it, Craig Wright, who's claiming he is the one who's got Satoshi's true vision. Doesn't this all seem religious to you?
It does. It does. It's like it's a whole lot like a religious schism.
I mean, it is almost identical to religions because, I mean, you're talking about God's vision, right? Satoshi's vision. That's Satoshi is the creator.
Satoshi left
of Bitcoin.
Now all his followers are arguing with each other and having religious wars.
It's the same story, whether it be Jesus or Buddha or whatever. As soon as the original visionary, the prophet, is gone, Muhammad, for instance, in Islam, you've got schisms that sometimes they happen almost immediately with whoever the first follower of that original person was. In the case of Islam, we were talking about that the other night. The community remains split, according to CoinDance's tally of company support, and the ABC roadmap appears to be ahead. Open Bazaar lead backend developer Chris Pasha sees the user support clearly on the ABC side, indicating that the value will follow the chain with the most users. In terms of mining hash power, however, outcome is less certain, with CoinGeek and SV Pool comprising nearly 30% of the last 24 hours worth of blocks. Now, 30% isn't enough
that's not enough to take over the network.
Right? It's not going to kill the original Bitcoin Cash, but it's enough to have your own things.
It's enough to have your own cryptocurrency and split. But this Craig Wright guy doesn't want to have his own cryptocurrency and split. He wants to destroy Bitcoin ABC.
Well, that's going to be a challenge, I imagine.
With only 30%, he can't do it.
Right. The coming hash power contest could prove ugly and destructive if parties involved are taken at their word. In a series of tweets, nChain chief scientist Craig Wright issued a strongly worded threat against the competing ABC client, intimating that he would see to its permanent and total failure. Quote, a note, many like to treat me like Cassandra. I don't know who that is. Well, here's your warning to ignore at your peril. We will win this fast, or we will win this slow. But we will win this. Others would like this to be nicer. I would prefer a lesson. I want to have people understand Bitcoin. If it means we spend a year or more slowly bleeding every Satoshi of value one by one from the ABC chain, we will, without exception. You're laughing over there, Vincent.
Jeez, man. I mean, we're talking about like nerd and geek
I
stuff,
know.
and this guy's like, "Oh, drink your skull, blood from your skull."
Right? It sounds like a pro wrestler, right? Like threatening the other pro wrestlers in the behind-the-scenes sections of wrestling.
Backstage,
backstage. If he goes on, there's more to his quote. If ABC stays on SHA 256D, which is that's
one of the proof of work type of algorithm that they're using. Yeah.
It does not add replay protection, we will hound it. Not until it is weak. Not until it is unlisted on every minor and every major and home level exchange globally, but until the last CPU running it anywhere globally burns out.
Oh my!
We will hound them until they grow weak.
This guy is. I don't know what he's on, but it's
a power
pure
trip.
Evil.
It's a power trip. If this means chasing a lone dev with a CPU to burn that last vestige of hope, and you think I will not, then you do not know me. But you will learn. This is not vengeance. It is a lesson, and I intend to burn it into the hearts and souls of all the socialists in ABC so their great-grandchildren do not forget it.
Now, I did some looking around while we were going through this because I'd already read his quote.
And then he ends it with "Have a nice day."
I don't know what he means by socialist there.
Yeah, me neither, because I forget which one of y'all were saying earlier, but somebody was saying maybe it was the caller, that Craig Wright is not a free market guy, that he's not a libertarian.
Yeah, our last caller was saying that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt that some on on whatever team or social. I know Ethereum, right? They have some outright Marxists working on the Ethereum team back when I followed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, full steam ahead.
Now, just because Roger Ver is a pure free market voluntarist, and he's the guy behind Bitcoin.com, by the way. Bitcoin.com is backing Bitcoin ABC.
ABC, yes.
And just because Roger's a voluntarist doesn't mean that everybody who supports Bitcoin Cash is also. So to paint everybody with one broad brush and say, oh, everyone over at Bitcoin Cash is a socialist, is ridiculous. Going back to the story here from Dash Force News, while the outcome of the hard fork isn't clear and not all parties involved may see rights threats as credible, Cointext CTO Vin Armani expressed a belief that hash power accrued by CoinGeek and nChain would be sufficient to cause significant damage. Armani released a video on Twitter calling for the hash war to be averted. Normally, Armani called attention to the potential, or notably, he called attention to the potential threat of the affiliated miners also conducting similar attacks on other proof-of-work chains, disrupting those networks until their market value and viability significantly decrease. Now, what kind of attack can they be doing here, Michael? I mean, do you know offhand what some of these attacks might be?
I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to. I wish I did, but
because just pulling hash power,
I will say this: Bitcoin Cash, the exchange rate has gone up the last couple of days.
It has. So the market is possibly looking forward to this, in some way. We'll continue here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Because if you just pull hash power away, that doesn't actually... It's not an attack. It weakens it somewhat, maybe, but anyway.
If they don't split, that hash power will have to come back, or they'll be mining worthless coins.
More coming up.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.68 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,235 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,422. Antiwar.com reports once again underscoring how vulnerable the region is. Taliban forces attacked and overran a key security post around the outskirts of the Afghan city of Ghazni. The city has been contested in the past, and this is one of the several posts which aim to encircle the city and keep the Taliban from raiding. The Taliban took the post, killing 13 Afghan troops and wounding 13 others. The Taliban statement claimed 18 were killed and that they'd seized a large quantity of weapons stored at the post. It's unclear if taking the post is meant to be a prelude to a new Taliban incursion into the city of Ghazni, or simply an attempt to force security forces to commit more defenses, making other parts of the country vulnerable. Afghan officials say that they inflicted heavy casualties on the Taliban in the fight as well. The Taliban controls several areas around Ghazni province and have been making gains in areas across Afghanistan, forcing the military onto the defensive. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday refused a request by the Trump administration and the telecommunications industry to wipe away a lower court decision that had upheld Obama-era net neutrality rules aimed at ensuring a free and open internet, though the justice's actions does not undo the 2017 repeal of the policy. The court decision not to throw out the 2016 U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit ruling leaves a legal precedent in place that could help net neutrality supporters in any future legal battle if the policy is ever reintroduced. The rules, championed by former President Barack Obama, intended to safeguard equal access to content on the internet, was opposed by President Donald Trump. The Trump administration and the telecom industry had wanted to erase the 2016 ruling, even though the FCC in December voted to repeal the net neutrality rules. The policy reversal went into effect in June. The Supreme Court's brief order noted that 3 of the court's conservative justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch, would have thrown out the appeal court decision. Neither Chief Justice John Roberts nor Brett Kavanaugh participated in the decision. The Department of Justice has also filed suit to block California's state net neutrality law from taking effect in January. The state agreed in October to delay enforcement of the law pending appeals of the net neutrality reversal. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the social media site officials say a gunman used to post anti-Semitic messages before killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue is back online after finding a new domain host. Domain registrar startup Epic has agreed to host Gab after the site went dark last week when host GoDaddy pulled its affiliation after the October 27th shooting. Authorities say the suspect, Robert Bowers, used Gab to post anti-Semitic messages. Gab bills itself as a social media platform for free speech and individual liberties, but has been criticized as a haven in for hate speech. Epic chief executive Rob Monster told the Seattle Times on Sunday he believes in free speech and thinks Gab will be aggressive in stamping out violent rhetoric. Monster said, "I do believe the guys that are on the site are vigilant." The Epic CEO also said he met with Gab founder Andrew Torba before making his decision to accept the social media site. Monster wrote, "Although I did not take the decision lightly to accept this domain registration, I look forward to partnering with a young and once brash CEO who is courageously doing something that looks useful." Gab found another supporter Sunday in the Washington Post editorial board, which said the platform should be allowed to keep operating. The board said if the internet belongs to everyone, it might belong to Gab too. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to the War for the White House bunker. A troubling new report from the Shuttleworth Institute shows that due to Facebook, every potential candidate for the 2040 presidential race, no matter how smart or accomplished, is now completely unelectable. I'm standing in the 2012 Democrat Grid with Jason Copeland. Jason, walk us through this.
Yeah, we're looking at really a political crisis. The Democrats are currently searching basements and creepy backyard sheds in search of somebody who was kidnapped at a young enough age that they have no online presence.
That is a very interesting tactic.
And the GOP has been looking at this young man. This is a 20-year-old Jeeves Jones. He's currently living in Appalachia with his fundamentalist Christian grandmother and no electricity.
So Jeeves has no Facebook page?
Jeeves does not. In fact, he's completely illiterate. And the Republican Party has begun grooming him for a possible candidacy in 2036.
All right. Well, at least there's someone. Thank you, Jason Copeland.
Thanks, Andrea.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free here. Just dial in at 855-450-FREE. It is the election night edition of the show. And, results are, of course, scant at this point. It's only 9 o'clock Eastern time as we're performing this hour. I did finally... This is the only time I've actually even pulled up the results, because anything earlier than this, it's really... it's almost a waste just to look right now. I mean, even in New York, only 0.1% of the precincts there are reporting. Actually, I guess the reason why is because they're just now closing. So I guess New York votes until 9 p.m. Eastern time. So according to New York Times, the Democrats have thus far gained a couple of seats, and the Republicans have lost those 2 seats. There's a dead heat in the Senate races as well. And we don't have any results whatsoever from New Hampshire at this point to figure out how the governor did here in the governor's race, because ultimately if the gubernatorial candidate in New Hampshire cannot reach 4% this year, as the candidate did, a different candidate did 2 years ago, then the party will once again lose its ballot access status and be relegated back to the dustbin of the minor parties. So that's my big hope for tonight. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, because the polls in advance have shown, I mean, not that you should really rely on polls, but they've been showing mostly 1% or 2% in the polls. There was one poll that showed her at 4%, the Libertarian candidate. So it would be nice if she could hit that 4% mark, because it was nice to be able to actually go in today and vote straight ticket Libertarian.
Yeah, that is nice.
Because there were Libertarians in almost every race in which I was able to vote, and that's because we didn't have to get a bunch of petition signatures in order to qualify for the ballot.
Yeah, the ballot access is just, if you have to go through that, it's just so time-consuming.
It's grueling. It's insane. I would never have been able to have run as a Libertarian candidate, because in order to run as a senatorial New Hampshire Senate candidate, you have to get like 700-something valid petition signatures. And if you want to get 700 valid, you better shoot for 1,500 raw.
Right, because they'll throw half of them out.
Exactly. And it's a huge pain. And you know, if you hire paid petition gatherers, they may charge as much as $5 per signature. I mean, so it's just
and you got to raise that money.
Yeah, it's just insane. And I don't believe in spending money on politics. So it'll also be interesting to see what kind of vote totals I receive, because I've done absolutely no campaigning besides responding to inquiries. So if a group like the New Hampshire Firearms Coalition sends me a questionnaire, I'll fill it out and send it back. And they gave me an A. The Marijuana Policy Project sent me a questionnaire. I filled it out, sent it back. I got their endorsement. So I got the top scores from both the guns and the drugs organizations, which is what you would expect for the Libertarian. So it'll be interesting to see, how I do compared to the libertarians who actually put time and effort into campaigning, right? So there's campaign signs out there for a bunch of other libertarian candidates. They've been traveling around the state doing things. Now, of course, you could argue that the candidates who put time and effort into campaigning and actually have a campaign budget and staff, well, you could argue they benefit all of the candidates. So you could say, well, you wouldn't have done as well if the other candidates weren't out there doing what they're doing. But it is ultimately hard to draw conclusions from how people vote, because you ultimately never know why somebody votes for you.
Unless you ask them.
What?
And even
you
then,
don't.
they might not tell you the entire truth.
Right. And you're not going to be able to ask very many of them, because you can only be in so many places asking people exit polling questions. So as we learn more, we'll let you know. And actually later on tonight, Vincent, you've got your own show. It's called Questioning Authority. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but I didn't point out that it's only available online at lrn.fm. So if you're listening to us on the radio, you will have to tune in there if you want to catch Vincent's show after this. And it was your intention to do a special election night edition of your show, because normally you're not on Tuesdays.
No.
So that's still to come. We go to the phones here. E. Greg is on the line. He's on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Go ahead, E. Greg. In New York.
Hey, how are you?
Good, you're on the air.
Yeah, so I guess this day is the big day for democracy, representative democracy and all that. But I wanted to talk about something very different.
Sure.
Many of you guys know, and many of you know, that I'm more, in favor of sort of more, I guess, collaborative solutions to problems rather than competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the news and the polarization that's been happening in this country is actually very predictable, and it's due to, in some ways, capitalism disrupting the news and disrupting a lot of other things. So there's two things that happened. One is that the internet disrupted news organizations, right, and journalism.
Yes. And when you say disrupt, you mean they've completely changed how journalism in the old media is being approached in some ways. Because now you're seeing, I've seen old media reporting on Twitter, meaning that they're reporting on what people are saying on Twitter. It becomes a news item what people are saying on Twitter. So it's very different now.
Being from the old school, I think, is ridiculous, but, that's...
what do you mean? I think it was the...
Go ahead,
ultimate navel gazing when I saw a story on Fox News TV, which was on YouTube, the clip.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was Fox News reporting that the story was that Alex Jones' Clinton body count conspiracy theory was buried by Google. Okay. And that was the story. The Google is somehow manipulating results of Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And this was reported on Fox. So that's like a whole other level of like.
Well, it's absolutely true. Have you gone into YouTube, type in Alex Jones, like say the exact name of like a video of his that he put out, and then you see it's like all the first 20 responses are NBC News, X, Y, and Z, and then finally you get to the actual result. It's
well,
not just
it may be.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Google can and they do suppress search results.
Yeah, it may be true, and I'm not even gonna discuss whether it's true or whether it's maybe a result of some other factor. But my point is, it's not really news to someone like myself who doesn't care that much about some guy and some results somewhere. I want to know about things affecting my community and maybe
Okay, well,
myself.
turn on to your local Fox affiliate. I mean, it might not be interesting news for you. I mean, it's certainly news that especially around election season, that a tech giant is trying to mess around with the reach or the words of another influencer. In this case, some fat guy on the radio. A fat Zionist shill on the radio. Yeah, Zionist shill on the radio.
One thing we've lost sight of, kind of with all the changes in journalism, is that the national news organizations are kind of struggling with it, but the local news like the local papers, the local TV station, they're really hurting because of all these changes in.
Well, that's part of the disruption. Was not only did they disrupt kind of the way news is reported, because now it's more decentralized, given that anybody can start a blog. I've got freekeen.com. Google lists that as a news source.
Yes.
Even though it's mostly news and opinion, but they still list it as a news source. And
the Keene Sentinel is mostly news and opinion.
That's true, and that's listed too. But they also disrupted the advertising model, right? So now with digital advertising, there's more accountability, a little bit more. I mean, you still don't really know who's clicking on things, but they can track clicks, whereas with radio or print, you just know how many papers got distributed.
You have a general idea, but
you know where your transmission area is. You know, you may have some sort of shot in the dark about what percentage of the population is listening based on, say, an Arbitron or Nielsen study.
But there's also ad blockers.
That's the other side of that. But the
really
point
hard
is
to track conversions.
Well, that's true. But the point is money has moved from old media to new. It has advertising dollars. One of the concerns in the old media, if you read, like I read the industry publications from the talk radio industry, and one of the concerns that the radio industry has is how to stop hemorrhaging cash over to digital, or how to do digital better so they can get a piece of that cash. Basically.
Well,
so, yeah, everything
I'll give you a case study. It's called Free Talk Live.
Well, I mean, we're kind of a crossover, right? So we don't exist in... And that's what old media is trying to do, is they're trying to kind of change how they do business and how they produce to where they can maximize their ability to be on the new media. And the thing is, they're old and they're slow, and so they don't... I mean, there's still radio stations that don't even have websites.
Oh, yeah, I believe
It's 2018. I mean, I was shocked by this in 2002 when I first started calling radio stations that stations didn't have websites, but it's been 16 years, and some of them still don't have websites. Some of them, you can't even get a phone number for it. Like, I don't know how they stay on the air. It's just, it bewilders me. Greg, hang on. I know you're driving at something here. We're going to bring you back. He's, I'm sure, got more to say. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. He's talking about the idea of collaboration. He brought up new media versus old media. So I'm curious as to where he's going to take this. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Also, ballot measures are up on some of the states this evening. And Utah, I believe, is one of them with cannabis. It's Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Free Talk Live.
It's written in legalese. If you don't have training in reading that crap, it might as well be a foreign language. And as you pointed out, it doesn't matter if you can read it.
I thought I had them dead to rights. And these bureaucrats, they just like, no, we do whatever we want here at the zoning board.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll kiss our butts.
Peon. Serf. Slave.
You'll do what we say.
Yeah. Why label them citizens?
Well,
why not just call it what it is? You're a serf. You're a slave. We're the freest slaves in the world. If you don't like this slavery, you should go to some other country and be a slave. At least we got cell phones and TV and beer.
Do have beer.
Our masters let us live a pretty nice life. They let us keep 40% of what we earn.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian,
Michael,
and Vincent.
And don't forget, you can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features there. We've got a Twitch channel, which means you can watch the show live if you would like. Over at twitch.lrn.fm. Just go there and follow the Twitch channel. Thank you to the over 500 followers that we currently have on Twitch. Not a whole lot. I mean, when you compare us to the actual, like, serious channels that do video game streaming where they have hundreds of thousands or millions.
Yeah, we don't have a million followers yet.
Followers. And I don't expect that we ever will, because we're, in the same way that Libertarian Talk Radio barely exists in the world of talk radio, we're the exclusive one. We're the only show now in national syndication since the Freedom Fiends ended their show last weekend. We're the only Libertarian, truly principled, voluntarist show on syndicated talk radio. And we're still relatively small. Yeah, we got 194 stations. That's nothing to sneeze at. There's no doubt about that. But we've worked hard on that, and we've been, pounding the pavement, so to speak. We've been making phone calls to radio stations for a long time to make that happen. But even so, we're still not on most of the major markets. We're not on the major stations in the major markets that we're on. We have some exceptions. We're on WRKO in Boston on Saturday nights. That's a monster. That's a 50,000 watt station. We're on WIBQ FM in Indianapolis on Saturdays, WNIS in Norfolk. So we do have some big ones. But all things considered, compared to other syndicated talk shows, we're still on the, I would say, mid-sized level. Lower.
It's steady growth.
Yeah. It's been there was a plateau for a few years where it didn't grow really at all. We kind of lost a few, gained a few, lost a few, gained a few, and now we're slowly growing up. And maybe we're going to hit 200 if we're lucky by the end of the year. If we're lucky.
Well, that you're going to make a 200 shot glass to go with my 100 shot.
You still have that one?
Yes.
Very nice. That was actually Jason Osborne who put that together way back in the day. From Sekel CAI. Anyway, go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow us there, and watching on Twitch and following Twitch means you'll get notices. So when Vincent goes live tonight with Questioning Authority, there's going to be a notice that goes out to all the Twitch followers saying, hey, you can tune in to Questioning Authority right now. So that's a good way to kind of keep on top of what's going on, what shows coming on the air. That way you don't forget that we're there. And if you have the ability to give us your Twitch subscription, because you get one free one with every Amazon Prime subscription, and you want to give that to us, you can do that. The instructions on how are right beneath the video window at twitch.lrn.fm. So just scroll down a little bit past the video. You'll see the instructions there as to how to link up your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account and then send us that free subscription. So then we'll get a couple bucks in the kitty over here at lrn.fm. And that money doesn't stay with Amazon. Otherwise, it just stays with them. So we go back to E. Greg. You're back on Free Talk Live. E. Greg, you were calling in about the idea of collaboration. You brought up the fact that digital media, the internet, blogs, other forms of digital media have disrupted old media. And then we kind of went off on a tangent on that. So go ahead with your point.
Yeah, so there are two major phenomena that basically affected American society. One is that because news organizations needed to adapt, they became a lot more clickbaity, and they started making articles, especially online, that you would want to click and reshare and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And to lock in their audience, they needed to really, bifurcate and really polarize and kind of be about one thing. Okay, and that's fine, but it was the death of sort of these balanced, reporting where you get a little bit from here, a little bit from there. It's mostly now left versus right versus libertarian or whatever. So
yeah, but that's not a new change. I mean, that happened when Fox News came out. They were always the right-wing alternative to CNN, right? I mean, that's what Fox News has been around for, what, a couple decades now?
90s, I think.
Yeah, they've been around a while.
Yeah, but only in the 2000s did they start this sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, I agree. And MSNBC, copied that model. But I'm talking about online. I'm saying most of the online sources, whether it's Huffington Post or Breitbart, which copied their model, they're all catering to a certain audience because you need your audience to come back. If you don't have an audience of subscribers, you're not going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So maybe there's some innovative way, but normally you're not going to make money.
That's true.
Right. And the other phenomenon is that Facebook and Google Plus and others, they want more engagement because advertising dollars are also what powers their social network. And the more engagement, the more clicks, the more money they make. So they will show you things that you have historically clicked on before, and things that you've already agreed with, they're going to see more of that.
Correct.
And
that's true.
And the friends that agree with you, you're going to see more of their posts. So what happens is those social networks combined with the polarized reporting essentially bifurcated Americans into, and this is not Americans only, this is everybody in the world, is being pushed into either one or another echo chamber. So that's really what happened with profit-driven news and profit-driven social networks.
Okay.
So I see this as a problem. I see, these kind of problems crop up a lot. I think when rap music was pushed by the music industry, for example, that also had effects on people that listened to it. I'm talking about gangster rap music.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is that things have effects. And now what if we could solve all this and return to people liking each other and liking their neighbors again and liking their family members by a site that's more like Wikipedia, that's collaborative, and that each news story would be reported on not by journalists that get paid and have to go to some other country, but by the people themselves. They have cell phones today. These days, there's so many cameras out there that people can put up their own video. They could put a snowball of information. They can report on Syria or Yemen or anything. And it's the site with the collaboration that should be voting things up. And there shouldn't be this weird competition about whether New York Times can attract more advertising dollars than
So are you talking about like Steemit, which is a cryptocurrency-based vote-up site? It's let me see if I can try to describe it here. It's Steemit.com. It's Steemit. Steemit.com. It's cryptocurrency-based, kind of a social bookmarking website where anybody who wants to. I think, Vincent, you're on there, aren't you? You're nodding your head. People can't hear you nod.
Yes, I am on there.
And I'm on there as well. I'm at FTL_Ian, and I think it's _Ian. FTL, yeah, I think it's FTL_Ian. But anyway, it allows anybody who wants to post anything they want, and that could be as simple as just a photo post. It could be a full-on article. It could be, a paragraph or whatever. You could post a video. You can post whatever it is you want in there, and you give it a headline. You give it a few categories. They give you 5 categories that you can put in there. You choose which categories you want to put in. And then it goes up on your Steemit blog. And then other people, based on which categories it appears in, so sort of kind of like Reddit has different categories. Based on which category it appears in, there's people who, let's say I post a story about cannabis legalization in New Hampshire. I would tag that with cannabis, with politics, with news, with, freedom, with anarchy. And then the people who are looking at those categories will see that story, and they will decide to either vote it up or to not vote it up. There's no vote down, I think. There's just vote up, so it's more positive. And then that generates cryptocurrency that is associated with that article. The crypto in this case is called Steem. And then you can take that Steem, you can convert it into Bitcoin and convert that into whatever you wanted to. And hang on a moment here, Greg. I think it's an interesting question about collaboration in the world of news. And I want to get Vincent to weigh in on this because he's a news editor. More coming up.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if this social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's rightsocial.net.
Rightsocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
Rightsocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
Rightsocial.net, the right place to be.
Epigenetics and the sins of the father. God said, man said.com. U.S. colleges, new mental institutions. Close Satan's secret door. God said, man said.com. Mummies and the sons of Ham. Alcohol and Christians. Geologists say yes to crucifixion. God said, man said.com. Which religion? Which Bible? Quantum physics to Adam's rib. Hours of text and streaming audio. God said, man said.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in here, toll free, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. We're talking about decentralized media, and we got E. Greg on the line here who's saying collaboration, he thinks, is a better approach than competition for profit.
And I want to get deeper into that here because, Vincent, you are a news editor with the local college newspaper here in Keene. And so you're training to go into this field. So I'm wondering how you're sort of receiving this discussion so far. But I also do want to make sure that you know about our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. That's where Greg is right now. And once he gets off the phone, he's going to be back in the server with the other folks who are there, just in the chat rooms. We've got different chat rooms on different topics. And I imagine there's going to be some politics tonight going to be discussed as the election returns are coming in. The chats continue on 24/7 there on the server, so hop on in there and join over 600 active users in the last 30 days over on our Discord server.
Always somebody talking about something in here, and
it seems
sometimes
like
it makes sense too.
Sometimes there's some pretty good conversations that happen, and then there's also the voice chat rooms as well. So if you want to actually talk to people, you can do that there too. And it's free, so go to discord.lrn.fm. You don't need the Discord app. They do have a web version, but I recommend it. It's an excellent app. discord.lrn.fm. As we continue here with Greg on our Discord on-air call-in line. So you were talking about the sort of idea of people collaborating on news, not seeking a profit, but just to report news for the sake of reporting news. Is that kind of what you're suggesting?
Kind of, but that's only the beginning. So,
because that's not really that sustainable, right? Like, because in order to do a career in news, it helps if you can actually put food on the table. And in order to do that, you probably have to get paid at some point.
Well, I don't necessarily think you should be a career newsman, just like you shouldn't be a career politician. I think
Really?
I'm in favor of people collaborating. And so what I mean is Wikipedia, for example. Some people are career Wikipedia editors, yeah, but most people are contributing here and there. And open source, some people are, career, I guess, what are they called?
Well, yeah, but no one takes Wikipedia seriously as any sort of like authority on any subject. It might be good to get other sources and such, because any idiot could go on and edit and change anything and make up sources or use
Well, in
faulty
order for
sources and put
Wikipedia
it-
to be authoritative, it has to have a source, and usually those sources are news sites that are linked to at the
Now
bottom.
there is kind of a Wikipedia side project called Wiki News, and that's kind of what I thought of when you were describing it in the last segment. And that does appear to be news articles that are just written and edited by ordinary people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Wiki News was an early attempt, and it's kind of along the lines of what I'm saying. I'm saying that, just like GitHub maintainers, most people that add a bug fix or most people contribute to Wikipedia are regular people. It's not a lot to do. It's less than going out to vote, certainly, in some cases. And
Wiki News is crap. I just like to say I've never been to this site before, but it's ugly. It is unattractive and it's confusing. And I just typed in New Hampshire, and the last stories were from 2016. So,
yeah, Wiki News is an early attempt, and I wouldn't say it's good.
No.
You mentioned Steemit. Again, Steemit, I like certain innovations. I like that they're being innovative.
Well, Steemit, you can actually get paid. And by the way, Vincent, you checked my profile. It's at FTLEN without an underscore. So if you want to check me out there, because I post all my content that I do on FreeKeen over on Steemit, or anything that I feel like posting on Steemit, I can do that there.
I'm trying to do. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually get a little bit of crypto from this. I mean, I was blogging for a decade before Steemit came around. And I never got paid a single dime for doing any of the blogging I ever did over at FreeKeen beyond whatever few contributions might have randomly come in from some users here and there. But it's nice to actually, see $1 to $5 worth of cryptocurrency being generated by everything. It's not a whole lot, but it's the first time I've ever been paid anything to actually post a blog to something. But what was your critique of Steemit? I'm curious to hear.
So I like Steemit. I like Patreon. They disintermediate.
Well, Patreon's centralized.
That's true.
Yes. But I like the fact that they disintermediate, Spotify. They disintermediate what used to be these old boys networks. But what I'm trying to say is not this. I'm trying to say that if you wanted to make a site where there is less echo chambers, okay, not necessarily, you wouldn't go in the direction of Steemit. What you would do is you would want people to, first of all, be able to put evidence of things happening in their area. Video evidence, for example, or photos. Then you would want every fact to attract people from all sides to debate that fact. And if you wanted to say an argument, you would be linked to the argument that's already been said, and you can either upvote one or the other thing, but not have the same exact argument again over and over and not solve anything. You would actually solve the discussions. In the end, you would reach either one side was wrong, the other side is wrong. You reach where was the problem, the misunderstanding. So if you had a site that actually facilitated people gravitating for each fact, it would link to the other facts that it rests on and so forth. You could solve a lot of religious things. You could solve a lot of political things. And honestly, you could just link people to here's why this is the way it is. And it's already been debated ad nauseum, and you don't have to do it again. That's what I'd like to see.
No, people will find people. I mean, you've got Snopes out there, and people argue about that. So
yeah,
I'm not sure, but
they'll never stop arguing over things.
Snopes is one. It's one guy. I mean, it's one. It's
a couple, isn't it? I thought Snopes was a couple
with a cat.
Yeah. Maybe a couple with a cat. But I think it would be much better if I linked something where thousands of people have already battled it out, and you see every single argument that you would have made by someone, and then you can see that, okay, well, then there you go.
So does this platform exist, or is this just something you are cooking up in your mind?
This doesn't exist as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so,
I'd like to build something like this.
Okay.
I'd like to help heal the country with this.
Well, I appreciate the optimism, and let us know how the development goes, Greg. Thank you for the call tonight. I don't know if I believe that it's possible. I don't think that you can heal people or bring together people who have such disparate viewpoints. I just, there's always the bringing together of like a tragedy, right? So if like a hurricane or a massive fire or something terrifying happens and you can't have control over, then all of a sudden people drop the airs and their belief systems, and they can connect with somebody as a human being and pull somebody out of a burning building or whatever. But then once the person starts to get well again, they're just arguing with each other at that point.
No, well, there is a way to bring people together who disagree on fundamental things. It's called a market.
Well, how does that bring them together exactly? I mean, they're trading, but they don't.
They're trading.
You don't have to agree with somebody that you trade.
You're
with.
meaning like the free marketplace of ideas, right?
Well, that too, but the marketplace of commerce as well.
Well, just because, at least in college, I learned, they have a free marketplace of ideas, and it's sort of like a school of thought and journalism where, everyone, puts out everything. It could be garbage, it could be gold, but because it's, free market of ideas, people get to see what, and people get to pick and choose, and generally whatever's the truth, right? Because, people in general prefer truth over lies. Whatever is the truth will win out.
Somewhere in the UK, there is a landfill full of trash. Somewhere in that landfill is a hard drive someone threw out that has several thousand Bitcoin on it. Now, how do you sort through all the trash to get to the good stuff?
Good luck.
Well, I think it's take all these election stuff, right? Like you were talking about, like Larry Sharpe in New York. How do we know there's someone actually named Larry Sharpe, right? It could just be an actor. How do we know there's a place called New York, right? Or how do we know there's
Well, now you're getting pretty esoteric.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that some things, I'm just saying that, you can't. It's sort of right. You can't really trust what you see, but some things you just have to take it at face value.
Well, part of the idea of this, look, I'm not against decentralizing news. I'm not against the idea of what he's saying of, hey, everybody go report on things. Cool, let's have more reporting.
We've been doing that for 10 years.
Right.
Come on.
Let's have more video. Let's do those things. Most people aren't interested in doing that. Most people aren't interested in reporting the news. Most people are not going to do that. So you are always going to have a limited pool of people who are willing to be that person, that man on the scene. But it's never going to be a large crowdsourced thing, I don't think, like he's saying. Maybe I could be proven wrong. There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at anypay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. That's anypay.global.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
About 6 months ago, my wife bought Extendivite. She didn't tell me she was giving it to me. So after about 3 days, I said, maybe the weather's changed or something. I said, my legs feel really good. And she goes, well, I've been giving you this stuff, and it was the Extendivite. And you know that I'm about 75% better. I can actually climb stairs now, and I can get up out of chairs. I can even get down and, I have to work under a table or a computer table and work on a computer. I can actually get back up off the floor. You know what? It's an amazing product. I didn't think anything short of having surgery was going to help.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, Ian.
Michael.
And Vincent.
Hey, don't forget, you can join us over at freetalklive.com, and you can join the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. It helps us out a lot when you do that. Please, take a moment. It's $5 a month, or Bitcoin. You can do BTC. Over at amp.freetalklive.com. All right, some initial election results. As I said at the beginning of the show, I don't want to do a lot of election coverage just because you don't know anything. By 10 o'clock at night Eastern time, you still don't even get really results from the Eastern Seaboard, let alone the rest of the country. However, there's some initial results in some states, especially a couple of the elections we've talked about here. Normally, I wouldn't talk about what's going on in New York, but we've had a guy who's called into the show a few times now, maybe several times, all hyped up about Larry Sharpe. And this is the Libertarian candidate in New York State. And I heard recently this guy raised like a lot of money, apparently, like $300,000 plus, which is more than 10 times what Gilletta Jarvis, who's the Libertarian candidate here in New Hampshire, raised. So this guy raised a ton of money compared to other Libertarian campaigns.
How's he doing?
Yeah. So I didn't expect him to do very well because it's New York, the 50th least free state of all 50 states. He is currently in 4th place. He didn't even get 3rd place. They've got 25% of the precincts reporting right now, and Sharp hasn't even cracked 1%. He's at 0.6%.
That's disappointing.
He's got less than a third of the vote totals of the Green Party candidate, who managed to score 2%. So 0.6% for the Libertarian candidate after a bunch of people poured a ton of money into his race. And I hope they are feeling pathetic tonight.
If you're a Libertarian and you live in New York, you need to leave now.
And move 4 hours to the east or whatever, right? Like,
it's not even 4 hours.
If you're in Albany, it's 2. If you're elsewhere, it could be as many as 6 or 8 or something like that.
I guess the western part of the state, Buffalo, it's like 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 or 8 from Buffalo. But Rochester's way over there too. But anyway, yeah, get on over here to New Hampshire. If you are at in most states, the Libertarians are going to lose. They're going to lose hard. I mean, Gilletta Jarvis isn't even doing great here in New Hampshire, but she's doing 3 times better than Larry Sharp. Gilletta Jarvis with 1.8% so far, with about 24%, 25% of precincts reporting. So the New Hampshire candidate with less than a tenth of the money did 3 times as well with the actual percentage of vote totals. And that's, by the way, with her being excluded from the debates. And I think I heard, now I could be wrong on this, I think I heard that Sharp was actually included. I could be wrong about that, but either way, just raw numbers, we've done way better than they did over in New York. And as you pointed out, I think it was during the break, Vincent, she was a weak Libertarian candidate. She's not really a principled Libertarian. She didn't get on the campaign trail and talk about the non-aggression principle really at all.
Well, I get, like, I didn't follow it too closely. When I said weak candidate, I mean, like, I didn't hear of any big rallies she put. I didn't hear, be sort of like energy. You know what I mean by energized, right? Like, be someone people could get excited for.
You didn't catch wind. You didn't hear any buzz.
No, absolutely not. No, and like, does that mean one has to be an extrovert to do it? Well, not necessarily, but you got to at least get people excited about it. And I did not detect any excitement from her. From her campaign, it was mainly, the feel I got was mainly like, all right, well, this is a governorship. We got to vote for this person so we could keep ballot access, instead of saying we got to vote for this person because we believe in what she stands for.
That's a good point. I think you're right on the money there. And it's not to say Giletta's a bad person. She's a very nice lady. I like her personally. I just wish we had a principled candidate. She's better than the last guy, who, even though he got 4%, I think that was a fluke because it was the Trump-Hillary election, and I think people were more likely to just vote for Libertarians because they were mad about Trump and Hillary. I think that's what happened there, because the guy in 2016 was even less personable than Gilletta. Like, Giletta's she's good with people. She can at least talk. She's good on stage. She's not afraid of a microphone. This other guy didn't even show up to his own campaign event. I mean, he was bad. And he got 4%. So you never really know what's going to happen.
You're talking about Aaron Day?
No. Oh, no. I'm talking about in 2016. The guy who got 4%. His name's Max Abramson.
Pardon
He's actually a
He's
Republican.
not even a Libertarian.
Yeah, now he's a Republican. So
he never was a. Well, he
had to be a Libertarian, or I guess at the time
maybe he was a party member. But no, this guy is a conservative.
Okay, I'm sorry, Aaron Day. I was mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know if Aaron Day would have been a better candidate than Gilletta. Gilletta defeated him in the primary this year, and so we ended up with Gilletta. And again, there was an interesting article, and maybe I'll pull it for show prep for later this week, where the Keene Sentinel, which is the newspaper here in the Keene area, wrote an editorial piece or maybe it was, I don't know if it was, it must have been an editorial piece. They wrote an editorial piece where they endorsed Molly Kelly, who's the Democrat, for governor. But they made a point about Gilletta, which I thought was really astute. They observed correctly that she's not really a libertarian. They criticized her for not taking a principled stance on the issues. They criticized her for not being, like, on the money as far as being a libertarian, not like taking a pro-government stance on certain issues, which you wouldn't expect from somebody who's a principled libertarian. And you know how they know this? Because they've interviewed people like me. They've interviewed people like, me, who is an actual principled libertarian and who expresses the non-aggression principle in a way that even these newspaper editors, whether they disagree or agree with it is another question.
They understand it.
They at the very least understand what the non-aggression principle is and what a libertarian should be saying. And that's how they were able to identify, hey, wait a minute, this lady doesn't sound like she doesn't sound like a libertarian on these issues. So I think that hurts us. I think ultimately as a political party that's supposed to be the party of principle, when we've got people like Gary Johnson, and I'm not saying Giletta's as bad as Gary Johnson, but when we got people like Giletta who are mediating the issues, who are trying to water it down, trying to be populist, trying to appeal to the masses, I think it actually hurts us more, especially in a state like New Hampshire, where the native population, they appreciate the ideas of liberty. They want a candidate who wants to leave them alone. And again, I'm not saying she was a meddler or something like that, but she just wasn't presenting the principled argument. I think that hurt her campaign.
Well, the way you're describing it reminds me of how Jeb Bush or John Kasich or any of those others were seen during the Republican primary of 2016, right? Like, Jeb was just the boring milk toast, right? Exactly, milk toast.
Let's go to the phones. We got John in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
I just moved over the last couple of years, so I didn't get a chance to vote in New York State for Larry Sharpe, but I really tried to encourage my friends and everything to do so. I was just wondering, what exactly is the problem with libertarian candidates? I've been listening to the show for a few years, and it seems like far too often there's no support. And Free Talk Live is one of the leading libertarian shows on the internet and on the radio, and it doesn't seem like you guys support any libertarian candidates.
What do you mean?
I understand that it's supposed. It does. Okay, Larry Sharpe. About Larry Sharpe, I was calling in, so I didn't hear exactly all that you said, but it was like, oh well, I hope that everybody that voted in New York or donated money to his campaign feels stupid. Well, if we can't get any support from anybody,
I didn't say you should feel stupid.
I can't.
I just said that I don't exactly remember the words I used, but we've been trying to tell libertarians if they want to actually have success, they've got to concentrate in one area, and they keep thinking they're going to be able to win their elections wherever it is they live, and they never do. And it's like the same lesson over and over again. Just they keep banging their head up against a brick wall, and we're over here saying, hey, why don't you stop banging your head against the brick wall and, come over here and join us where we've got the largest migration of libertarians anywhere on the planet. Why don't you retreat and regroup to New Hampshire where you actually have a chance of winning something?
Well, so for the local libertarian boss hogs to milk donation money each year, milk campaign donate.
This guy raised donation. What, $500,000, $300,000? I think I saw at least $300,000. How can I support that kind of money being thrown down a rat hole?
Well, it's about spreading the ideas of liberty more so than winning an election. I've heard time and time again.
Is Larry Sharpe a principled libertarian? I don't know the guy.
It's I've watched a few interviews with him, and I really didn't see where. I mean, naturally, he's only running for governor of New York State, keeping in mind, not Senate or anything like that. So as far as foreign policy or whatever, he really doesn't have that much of a say. But as far as the ideas that he had for New York State and everything, there were a lot of free market ideas. You know what I mean? It was a lot of principled libertarian ideas, and he was bringing them to the fore. At one point, he had in the Republican polls or whatever.
John, I wish we had more time, but we don't. You'll have to call in earlier in the show if you want to continue this discussion. We can do it tomorrow. I appreciate hearing from you. Look, I'm not against you guys doing other things in other states. Good luck. Just that
it just doesn't work as well.
What do you want me to do to support you? I mean, I don't support the idea of staying where you are, so I encourage people to do the smart thing and gather with others of like mind. Go to move.shiresociety.com to learn more about the New Hampshire freedom migration. See you tomorrow. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.68 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,235 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,422. Antiwar.com reports once again underscoring how vulnerable the region is. Taliban forces attacked and overran a key security post around the outskirts of the Afghan city of Ghazni. The city has been contested in the past, and this is one of the several posts which aim to encircle the city and keep the Taliban from raiding. The Taliban took the post, killing 13 Afghan troops and wounding 13 others. The Taliban statement claimed 18 were killed and that they'd seized a large quantity of weapons stored at the post. It's unclear if taking the post is meant to be a prelude to a new Taliban incursion into the city of Ghazni, or simply an attempt to force security forces to commit more defenses, making other parts of the country vulnerable. Afghan officials say that they inflicted heavy casualties on the Taliban in the fight as well. The Taliban controls several areas around Ghazni province and have been making gains in areas across Afghanistan, forcing the military onto the defensive.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday refused to